And hello, everyone. Welcome to the game. So, Arrow, what the heck did you want to say? What heads up?
Oh,
He was just typing.
yeah. No, I'll probably have to go right away again because I got uh, scheduled for work again
All right.
Oh,
um,
you mean after the session?
after the session. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, fun.
that's fine.
You'll
Well,
just miss out on all the juicy after session talk. That's
yeah,
all.
No.
yeah. You also miss out on everyone helping you level to level 2.
Ooh.
Ooh.
No.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out yourself. Either way, Chrissy hit it off. You doing the recap?
Um, yeah, okay. So it's a bit long-winded. If anybody wants to jump in and take over, feel free. So we picked up discussing the merits of setting up camp or continuing through the night. And there was a discussion about kind of toing and froing whether we should do that or not. Trying to put as much distance between us and the hobgoblins as possible. Uh, Against Vieira's better judgment, the group convinces her they need rest. So everybody settled down. Snaga was already asleep by the fire as well. So there was that. There's a brief conversation about who can see in the dark, and Cassius was intrigued by Samira's response and very quickly ignored by Vieira, saying that there would be time for that later. So we figure out that only Vieira and Samira can see in the dark. So it's probably not worth trying to push through the night anyway. Dawn breaks in the camp after an easy night's rest and another visit from the owl, who showed up when Vieira was on watch. Um, and nothing happened. The owl kind of stuck around for a little bit while Vieira was brewing a healing potion and then flew off. Vieira told Samira about it when she took over, but nothing happens. So everybody wakes up the next morning, and the going's tough and slow, but we finally make it all the way back to the dead man's tree without any real incident going on. Um, at this point, the entire group realizes that Steno has been subsisting on basically rainwater and dew and a wineskin, and she's completely exhausted. So we kind of shuffle some water around so that everybody is sharing a bit of that. Um, we don't actually stop for a short rest at Dead Man's Tree because Vieira breaks it early to push on. And remembering the previous journey through past the Dead Man's Tree, Vieira remembers that we left the bandit bodies on the road a couple of 100 meters down the road, so she moves off to scout ahead and finds out that they are now infested with giant wasps the size of cats. She didn't stick around to count them, but turned around and immediately got back to the group, and we managed to circumvent that particular danger by moving off into the forest. Um, Pretty uneventful, skirting around the forest, and we managed to reconvene with the road a little bit later on. It begins to rain, and then quickly storm, and then deluge, and we are all drenched in seconds. We found a place to stop on the side of the road for a short rest and set up the rain catcher. And because of the deluge of rain, the rain catcher's pretty much full in a matter of minutes, which is good because that means we all now have plenty of water. Steno, take notes. There are some groans from Cassius about the rain overall, but the group is generally beginning to relax, and the previous day's ordeal is kind of starting to fade from everyone's mind, really. Vieira bathes in the rain, quickly followed by Snaga and Samira, and then everyone else, including a reluctant Cassius. And we all see the tangled web of scars on his back. Steno reaches out to kind of inspect them, but nobody really presses any major questions. We break from the rest and continue on, hoping to make as much or get as close to Sunset Hill as we can before night falls, only for a whistling sound to go past Samira, splodging into the muddy road. The hobgoblins caught up. Uh-oh. In a brief flash of an instant, Snaga goes down, gored by the boar. Vieira's badly wounded with an arrow in the shoulder. Steno and Cassius move to the rear to start attacking the archers and the hobgoblins down there. But Steno is taken down. I don't fully remember how, but I think it was a combination of blades and arrows. Either way, the fight's starting to look particularly grim, and the hobgoblin captain moves in to attack Samira and Vieira while we're still trying to deal with the boar. There's that rain again. And the hobgoblin captain cuts Vieira down, plunging his greatsword into her chest, killing her. Cassius pours a healing potion down Steno's throat and brings her back to consciousness. And the two continue to hold the rear, taking down some of the hobgoblins there. Samira is roaring in anger at the front, where the captain is, and begins wailing on the boar, who turns to flee from all of the wounds that's been inflicted on it. The hobgoblin captain dispatches his own boar as it flees. Strangely, an owl figure that Samira notices turns into a mysterious figure who walks up beside Vieira.
Nope. It's
can't.
just
Nope.
mysterious figure just steps out of the forest in a.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
So it's
turned
just
into
a
the owl
mysterious
and then flew away at the end.
I knew the owl appeared at some point, so. So the mysterious figure walks out from the forest, drawn in by a mysterious combination of things, but I, as a player, don't want to give that away. So he walks up beside Vieira and casts some sort of magic that seems to heal or resuscitate her. Not really sure. It was just a white flower that he held over her face, crumpled it, and then she woke up. The hobgoblin captain, seeing this and seeing the turning situation kind of more from the appearance of this new figure, snarls something at Samira and barks a retreat. And the hobgoblins begin turning and running, trying to flee away from probably not us, probably this mysterious figure. Vieira tells Samira to help Snaga up, and she manages to help him just in time as the mysterious figure also heals him with a green energy seeping from his hand into Snaga. The rest of us continue to harass the retreating goblins with arrows, bolts, and fists, and they eventually drop one by one until only the captain is left, with Vieira giving chase and using her Misty Step ability to keep up, so that he remains within range. Eventually, several arrows lodging into his back, the final arrow went through his neck and he crumpled to the ground, at which point Vieira started to shake and collapsed, unconscious.
You forgot to say Toothy Maw, Chris.
I don't say toothy maw.
Fuck's sake, Era, you infected the rest of the players with the 5-hour recap.
Yeah.
She even said, "Oh no," like you did. God damn it.
Slowly but surely, we recapping up the session.
Yeah. It's like
Laugh
every
so much.
session,
Next
it's gonna
time
be.
I come around, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be 15
It's gonna
minutes.
be a half-hour
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a lot that happened last session.
That is
To
true.
be
Yeah.
fair.
But I found it hilarious that you also went in and goes like, "Oh no," like Arrow last time. It's like, oh.
It's a goddamn story. in
It's
of
like,
itself.
okay, now I cannot bitch anymore if anyone does this again because now everyone is doing it. So I have to be quiet and just take it.
Yep. Well, you made the floor of asking us to do the recaps.
That is
so
very true.
We are going to do a recap, and for the most part, I only put in stuff that I think is relevant.
No,
There
I
was the whole
like.
point, the whole period of traveling from the trapdoor spider to the dead man tree, but nothing really happened, other than us finding out Zeno has been subsisting on wine
The
and not
reason
water.
why I like it when players recap is because I can then see what you actually pay attention to, right?
Yeah.
Unlike me, like
And
I
there
planned
might
the
be
stuff,
very
right?
esoteric things that happen in a session, and two of the players go, like what about this? That happened, and the rest of the group goes, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, and one small correction: Vieira didn't just tell Cassius that they should talk about Samira's what she is a different time. She just
She
flat
just
out
flat
ignored
out
him
ignored him.
and
Yeah.
steamrolled over him. It was just great. It's like, yeah, I don't care. It's like
You could see a
moving on.
small pop-up that said Cassius will remember that.
Yeah. So then let us continue where we stopped. You are on the map. Steno, you are the closest to Samira when she collapses.
Vieira.
Oh, to Vienna.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The mirror doesn't collapse.
Sorry!
Otherwise, I would be very worried.
I burned my hand earlier. My brain is all over the place. Give me a break.
And I think last session we just at the cutoff we said that Snaga and I would start running towards Viera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snaga actually made
They-
it to her.
Yeah, they blow right past me because
Yeah,
I
that
actually
was
am
like-
on my knees, kind of looking.
Yeah, I
down
mean,
at
we're
the-
gonna start off with you rolling a Constitution saving throws, Steno,
Yeah.
because your adrenaline is gonna wear off soon. It's the only thing keeping you up at the moment.
Yeah. That was just it was the same thing as Vieira. It was like fight or flight. Oh, there's enemies.
Yeah.
Take them out. So.
Yeah.
Roll
For
it.
me this time round, it was we can't let one get away, otherwise they will track us back all the way to Sunset Hill and kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's no
Viera,
bueno.
shush, you're unconscious. Shh.
Ability check, saving throw.
Saving throw.
Click. Normal. Click.
Yeah.
Public roll. Ooh.
Yeah, no, you
I just
are
go face
done.
down beside this guy.
Yes, basically.
Just poof.
Yeah, seeing that, Samira would have shouted towards Snaga, "Get Viera, I'll take her," and I just redirect myself towards Steno.
Okay, yeah. Snaga will actually pick Viera up and start carrying her back towards where Cassius is. He'll also stumble over something. Samira, if you can roll me a perception check just to see what it was, because
Alright.
it wasn't. Nope.
Because you're
Yeah.
the only other conscious player right now.
Nope. Never mind.
No, that's Cassius over there. He's also conscious.
Yeah.
He's just slumped against
So,
the tree.
yeah. So, Snaga will drag Viera over here and put her like gently down, and he will turn around and look to Samira. Samira,
Yes.
Steno, awake.
I'll just we'll just lightly palm her face a few times to see if she has any reaction at all. I don't want to slap her or shake her or anything.
Very much no.
Yeah, I'll shake my head and start carrying her over as well.
Snaga kind of starts like rocking side to side, looks at Cassius like,
Yeah, I'll carry her right next to Layout.
he's like waving his little arms, right? Looking at Viera down there. It's like there's blood everywhere. With the rain, it's like diluting it even more, right?
Yeah.
Cassius, can you stand up? Are you alright?
More right than you guys.
Help!
I
Help!
need-
Take off armor! Help!
Get
Yep.
Steno's pack. He has the medic stuff. Get a pack.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We need to dress the wounds. We need to stow the blood flow.
Believe it was somewhere around here.
Yeah,
At
somewhere
least that,
like
Yeah,
this.
it's
I've
easy
got
to
our
find.
bullet
Yeah.
wood.
yeah, that's where my shit is at least also. So.
Yeah.
Should pick up
And
both
I also,
and drag them over.
yeah, I also have some healing kits charges. So. Boop. And I will start helping bind clean wounds, I guess.
Yeah, just apply the healer's kit. You don't need to roll anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do the same for. I don't know if Steno needs it,
As
but I'll do it.
as you're doing that, Snaga actually starts unwrapping the tent. And very capably starts making a fire. And you actually notice that he at some point gets up, right? And looks around.
Mhm.
And then like beelines for some mushrooms in the shrubbery, right? And picks them up, goes back to like where he like set up some dry branches and stuff, and like breaks the mushrooms in half, and then like uses like the what do you call it, the sparky thing. You know what I mean?
Flint and steel.
Flint and steel. Yeah, thank you.
You need to move your token arrow as well.
Yeah, come on, right over here.
I mean, I'm gonna move you over to the background picture in a moment anyway, so it doesn't matter. But basically, he uses what seems to be the inside of the mushroom to light up the fire, even in this rain. And not only that, but then he like goes around and picks up various sticks and kind of like starts jabbing them into the ground on one side of the fire, like almost like making like a wall. And he's actually picking, like breaking off fresh branches to do that, right? So they don't catch fire. So basically the heat is reflected into one direction towards the tent, right? And he's like super quick, and then he like will look over his shoulder at you guys and go like, undress, wet clothes, not good, not good, must dry now.
Just following his lead, and just as soon as I realize we're making camp here, I'll just say, what did she say? The corpses. We need to. She said something about the corpses. We need to get them somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's raining now. It's this time. First put them in dry.
Yeah.
Injured people must be dry and warm.
Okay.
And it's like the first time actually you getting that Snaga is not a complete idiot.
Yeah.
On the contrary, he's actually a capable survivalist by the stuff you can see, right? So yeah.
Yeah, we'll follow his lead.
But he's leaving to you the stuff like, tending to the wounds, letting you kind of like peel off the wet clothing of the unconscious people.
Yeah. I'm just doing my best to remember.
He's focusing on the survival aspects, like making fire, putting up the tent.
Yeah, Cassius is doing his best, but it's clear that he has barely clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and at the very end, like once the two women are taken care of, he will then focus on Cassius and kind of start fussing over him with like, give me healer's kit, and trying to like bandage Cassius's wounds as well.
Yeah, you'll give it to him, and especially on
because
the one that's on his
he doesn't
back.
look completely peachy, right? There's still like a wound, right, where he was hit by the javelin, but he's doing actually the best of all of you.
Snaga MVP.
Yeah. As soon as the other two, like Steno and Vera, are taken care of, and he's starting on Cassius, Samira will just stand up and start gathering piles of bodies.
Yeah.
Just dragging and just muttering. What did she say? Would you say just trying to remember whatever Vera was always repeating, saying about last time we had bodies?
The same as the other time with the bandits. Just put them further up ahead and take their stuff.
And during the meanwhile, just after, yes, we need to. Hopefully, maybe one of them has anything worth, and just she'll start making piles of things that could be useful, could be strewn around, and then just bodies.
So yeah, you settle down. It's not, like it's still in the middle of the day, by the way. I should actually turn this a bit up here. There we go.
I think you said it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's a bit darker because of the rain, right? But it's still in the day, right? By now it should be, about 3 p.m.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell. Like it's with the rain going, with the dark rain clouds. It's a darker day, right? In every sense of that word.
Yeah. And the bodies will get drugged somewhere.
So
Down
as
the
you
road.
are carrying the bodies, are you checking what they dropped? The two people who are actually awake.
Yes. Cassius's call of take the stuff and just the inherent lootiness of Samira.
If you're helping each other
Catching
carry the
that up.
bodies and stuff, and go over the stuff, then I'll let one of you roll with advantage if the other one is helping.
Sure. Yeah. Once his wounds are bound, he's struggling around, but he's trying to help. Maybe not so much the carrying. but more taking out the
will
stuff.
take care of the boar and start actually carving it up. Like he full on expertly skins it, and then carves up steaks, right? And
seeing that, I'll just say, give me the skin, give me the. I want.
He will point out to you that it would take dry weather and multiple weeks to properly tan it, right? But if you wrap it, he will wrap it up for you, right? So you can put it away where it's dry.
And the tusks. Can you get me the tusks, please?
He will give you the tusks, and then he will clean it out, the guts, right? Make sure it's far away from the camp. And then he will carve up the rest, put some on the fire to roast, and the rest he will just put on the side to be smoked at the same time. So you get a huge boar roast. Yay!
Nice.
Very good.
It's gonna last you a while.
Meal and I'm unconscious. Damn it.
All right. So Samiri, will you take that perception check?
Investigation. Give me a perception with advantage and an investigation with advantage.
I should do it, you said?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, whoever wants to.
Okay, because as soon as Cassius would have helped me, I would have done the physical parts and not the searching with most. But alright, I can.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I would have thought Samira would have been dragging the bodies around.
Shh, you are unconscious. Shush.
Yeah, as soon as he said he would help, I'd have to done the physical stuff the dragging and everything else.
No, makes sense. So with advantage, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
And then investigation.
Yeah.
Also with advantage or normal?
Yes, with advantage.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome. So, I will start out with, as you were taking stock of where everything is and everyone that was killed, right? Because the leader ran off, right? And as you were heading for his body, Cassius, you notice a good 30-40 feet before you get to his body, there's a sack that he dropped as he was running away. And as you pick it up, it's quite heavy and it jingles coin. but not just coin. You can hear clank clank glass inside. So you can check it out in that moment if you are. Let me know or later.
I'll probably just drag it over everything else first, so that we can create like basically a inventory of everything
Hiding
that's
food.
there. So
Yeah.
it's just basically
Yeah.
piling it up, and then
So
slowly, as we're near the fire, taking time to
when
actually
it
inspect
comes to the
everything.
hobgoblins, most of
Mm-hmm.
them carry around loose coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like it's like a handful on each. Like you would have to like put it all in a pile and figure it out, right? It's just easier to just all chuck it into the bag if you want.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
But all of them have longbows and longswords and leather armor. And wait, specific creatures. Bullock Forest, Hobgoblin. Um, it's not just. Oh, sorry, it's chainmail. They have actually
Chainmail.
chainmail, yeah, and
Okay.
shields. It's one of the reasons. I forgot to mention the shields. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why their AC was so high, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, long swords, long bows, and chainmail and shields. So they were a bit more serious crowd that you bumped into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, besides the leader, the captain or whatever, the chief, right? The bigger guy. Um, he actually has half plate armor on him
Hmm.
and a great sword and the free javelins that he chucked. And yes, he dropped the bag. You will also find 2 rations in a pouch on him, and each one of them had 1 to 2 rations on them as well.
Okay.
You will also recognize one of them being the one guy that got away.
Motherfucker. Yeah, Cassius will probably focus on with the armor and the weapons. He's gonna leave them where they are because that's probably too much more that they can carry.
They of course have
But
also arrows that would fit Vieira's bow as well.
yeah, he'll take the arrows, probably the javelins as well. But the rest of the super heavy armor stuff, he's looking at it, especially this chainmail and half plate. He's looking at it, it's like, nah, it's way too much to carry, and she kind of leaves it where it is and focuses on the small stuff, and the coins, the rations, and then he's gonna inspect the sack.
Well, it's a bunch of coins. The first thing that you would actually notice would be the free potion bottles of crimson liquid, and if you pop them open, they smell like deeply herbal. Very similar to the stuff that Vieira was brewing. So you can make an educated guess that these are healing potions indeed.
Nice.
There's a fourth bottle that looks. It smells bitter. It kind of looks green, darkish, muddy, right? It smells very vile. You have no idea what it is, right? But otherwise, what you notice, it's basically 5 pounds worth of coins, mostly gold, and even some gemstones that are about like half an inch big. Stuff like jasper or citrine, quartz, onyx. There's like a bag of that stuff.
Nice.
You would actually have to sit
Alright.
down and count it properly for me to give you the exact coinage. But it's
Yeah.
about 5 pounds.
He will.
Plus the 4
Cassius will
potions.
actually hold. All right. Yeah, with the amounts, he'll focus on it later. But he'll hold up the health potions, and kind of looks with one of them in his hand. Looks towards the mirror. These can help. I'm not sure, but they kind of look like the stuff that I poured in Steno's face that Viera made.
If so, then we could use them right now.
Yeah.
We definitely need it. We need it. They need it.
Yep. I mean, it's a risk. I don't know what it is exactly, but yeah, he pulls one open, goes towards Viera. And
Snaga will actually help you, so he will like, prop her up, right?
Mhm.
And basically watch you like a hawk, like a lizard hawk. He will also like gently massage her throat with his free fingers to like basically push her to swallow, right? So she doesn't choke on it. But yeah,
So healing potion. Can you remind me again? I see.
no, 2d4 plus 2.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mhm.
Where is it? No.
Viera.
5.
Yes.
I would leave this up to you. This would be enough to slowly start waking you up, right?
Yeah. The first thing she'll do is cough up a lung full of blood.
Yeah. Snaga
And then
will roll you
lean
to the side. Yeah.
and kind of cough up the remainder of it. And then she's just gonna kind of wrap her arms around her midriff, because that's where all the pain is.
Hey, easy,
now.
easy. You're good.
Did we get them?
I think so. I think you got the last of them.
What about Snaga and Steno?
Snaga is already
Snaga's-
helping Samira pour more healing potion into Steno.
Mhm.
They're fine. They're well, we're doing peachy actually.
Oh,
There you go, 7.
thank you. I'm feeling pretty good, aside from residual pain.
And
So is
then
the
Samira
tent
herself lets
set
us.
up?
You are in the
Yeah,
tent.
get
You're probably
wrapped
very
in this
naked.
one. That's fine. She doesn't
You're wrapped in a bedroll, and Snaga actually put over Viera her winter coat that she usually puts on top of him.
Did I just lean to the right and cough up blood all over Steno?
I mean,
Probably. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. And
Oh.
she's just waking up apparently, and as soon as like the heal
my-
potion to Steno is going down, Samira just falls back into her back and just sighs because she hasn't been bandaged yet. She has just done manually.
Oh
everything
yeah,
from
like
there.
Snaga will start fussing over you now as well. It's like,
Yeah, she's just exhausted, just lying there spreading, just done.
Yeah.
that would be the fourth application, by the way. Arrow.
Mhm.
We were looting your pack from
Yeah,
Steno.
mine
Yeah.
was, I took the one for Viera. I took it out of my own, so 3
Okay,
from the
so
one from
3.
Senna.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just because
Alright,
that I knew where that one was exactly in my bag, so I just grabbed the first thing I had. Didn't go
Nice.
through
Alright.
Stenna's stuff.
Right. So just double checking. You said fourth application.
Three.
3
Third.
applications.
Three
Yeah.
minus 3.
Okay. So all right.
And this will be for the long rest, by the way, right? So you don't
Okay.
have to do another.
Okay. So once Steno is kind of awake and realizes that she's not wearing anything and except Viera's lungs, she'll look around and just like second nature immediately starts to crawl towards Viera and check on her and then check on Samira and then Cassius, etc. Kind of almost still in a state of shock, but it's like focusing on the task primarily at hand. and only that. It's just asking, hey, how does this feel? Do you do this? And like not even there's no like warmth to it. It's very very
As soon
cold.
as Naga starts on Samira, she'll just close her eyes, just accept whatever the fuck is gonna happen to her wounds, and just start.
He also
like,
makes sure that like also Cassius and Samira like are not sitting there in drenched
Yeah.
clothing. And he will
It's
also
like she's
explain
gonna accept it.
that when you're wounded, getting cold can kill you.
And she'll just start recounting what happened after the battle to the two knocked out and now awake.
And he doesn't seem to be bothered by like the three non-lizards being naked around him, right? I mean, it's not like you can read his facial expression anyway. He doesn't have any, but to him that's just it's just a thing, right? He actually takes off his wet clothes as well and like hangs them all outside in a dry spot of the tree to like dry. Yeah. And then he makes sure like that the fire keeps going and like warming up the inside of the tent, right? So it's like nice and cozy actually, despite the rain.
And the bodies are somewhere down that way, and she just motions like with her fingers. She thinks she can't move her fucking arm right now. And there's a potion. You should be better. Yeah. There's loot. And yeah.
Out of character question, were the arrows actually pulled out of Steno's shoulder at any point?
Yes, they're tended to you. Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, do I still have an arrow sticking out of my shoulder?
No, you don't.
I don't. Good.
Okay. Just double checking because
I just skipped over it because we don't have to have a third session of in-depth wound tending for half an hour.
Yeah.
I think, given the state that Vieira's in and everything that's happened, she's not even going to bother trying to get up. She's literally going to kind of settle back down.
You still have a very odd mixture of the blood in your mouth that you like coughed up, tasting, and that's mixing with the scent that I told you about. Still lingering because you had something dropped into your mouth, right? Like liquidy. So it's mixing with that.
Yeah.
Once everybody's looking okay, roughly speaking, Senno's just gonna crawl back into the bedroll and just go to sleep. Not even bothering with questions or anything, just out.
Yeah, she's just Samir will do the same after stating that the bodies have been piled off the road just 150 feet away. just drag marks and just very clear.
Well,
and hopefully that it's well done.
About an hour later, after you had the nap, I don't know what Cass is doing for the hour. Snag is mostly tending to the boar roast.
Cassius is checking out the loot and also keeping an eye out, basically, as the only member that is
do you have a pen? I hope you have a pen. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna copy paste it to you.
Yeah. No, I already put like a preliminary of in the OOC general, so I noted down some stuff, but not exact numbers. See?
So this is the overall coinage, right? And the yes, and the gemstones. They had quite a loot, so they were probably raiding something somewhere, and they were returning from that. You can easily make that conclusion. You had the 3 healing potions. You have that one potion. You still have no idea what that fuck is. It's vile, right?
So there's 1 healing potion left.
Yes.
Yep.
And
I already have that one.
Cassius, you notice in the pile of coins as you count, you first think it's a platinum coin, right? And then you take a closer look, and it's bigger than the usual coins, and it's not a minting you're familiar with. It looks positively ancient. It almost seems like it's coppery, but it doesn't look like the normal copper coins. It's heavier, it's bigger. It's still of a size that you can like flip it if you want. It seems to shed light. Not much. It's like a 5-foot radius dim light. It's odd.
Yeah, I'm gonna pocket that one.
Thought you would.
Yep. Looks fancy. So I'm just gonna call it in my inventory fancy shiny coin.
Yeah.
Ancient
Call it
shiny coin.
call it magic coin. It's clearly magic. It's glowing, right?
Yes. Okay.
Like at first you think it's a reflection of the fire, and then you kind of mess around with it, like put it in the bag and look at it again. And it's like, no, it's definitely glowing, right?
Yeah, I'm sleight of handing that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is watching.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But yeah, after an hour, Snaga will basically wake everyone up because it's actually still 5 p.m., guys. So he will wake everyone up to eat.
Taking a
Yeah,
short
this was a
rest,
short rest,
so-
yeah.
Well, does the combat medic thing happen on the
No.
short rest?
There was no combat medic happening.
Yeah.
No combat medic.
Steno didn't bind the wounds.
Yeah.
No, just
Yeah.
as long as everybody was roughly stable.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Fine.
How heavy are the tusks and the pelt?
Yeah.
I will figure that out.
Yeah, that's why I put it in chat, so you don't have to do it right now.
Yes. I mean, if you want to go the extra mile, you can figure it out for me.
Depends how big the boar is.
It's a giant
Yeah,
boar.
that's good
It's
to
a
know.
huge fuck of boar.
It was like 8 foot by the back of its shoulders, kind of thing.
Pelt with fur, probably like 10 pounds for the pelt.
At least. Boars that size are like half a ton heavy. They can lift half a ton with their tusks.
Here, I also got you something. And he basically takes all the arrows and dumps them at her, next to her, where she's laying.
Excellent, thank you.
Quite enough for a while, I think.
And then she begins... How many arrows are there in total?
I mean, there would have been scattered from falling and shooting and that kind of stuff. About 50.
There's got to be like 50 to 60.
Yeah,
odd.
50.
Samira,
Mm-hmm.
can you use a bow? Do you know how to use a bow
I mean,
instead of your crossbow?
could. Don't have much practice.
That's
But
something
yeah,
that
could.
we can do once we're back. I'm just thinking your longbow's a hell of a lot lighter than your crossbow would be. So it'd be
only got
easier to
one
carry.
bolt anyways.
Yeah, in that case, I would ditch the crossbow.
Yeah, I can do so. Just
Unless you want to keep it and sell it. It might sell for some coin.
that's good. I mean, we're carrying a shit ton, so why not?
Yeah. Is there anything else of any interest? Where's the leader's body?
We took
These
everything.
with the others just
It's and he
down
shows
there.
Cassius will show the big bag of loot with all the coins and the gems. I think they had a good raid.
Good for us then, I guess. Just about. Vieira's gonna get up and start heading, like, where did you say the bodies were? This direction?
Yeah. Over there.
And she's just gonna start walking over. She wants to see the
Are you
body
gonna
of
get
the
dressed
dead
first?
leader. No.
It's a fucking party right
Her
now. Who cares?
clothes and her armor are ruined.
She has backup
There's barely-
clothes.
No, she doesn't.
Oh.
No, she doesn't. She was carrying what she was wearing.
It's
So
gonna look
no, like
awkward getting back to town.
she'll be able to piece something together, but she's basically gonna have a huge tear through the middle of her leathers, which is kind of, she might as well be wearing a crop top at this point.
I mean, I can,
Um,
if you ask Samira, she can do
yeah,
something at least to piece it back together slightly.
I'm probably gonna ditch the leather anyway, so the cloth I might ask you just to stitch loosely back together and
Yeah.
replace it once we get to town. I've still got cold weather clothing that I can put on, so, and it is starting to get cold, so it's not a train smash. But I'm gonna head over to where the leader's body is,
Mm-hmm.
and I presume all the armor and stuff has just been dumped here.
Yeah, all the armor and the weapons actually. It's way too much.
How
to carry.
big is the half plate?
Big.
Too big for me, I presume.
Too big. It's like twice your size. The chainmail of the other hobgoblins would be easier to fit because they're smaller.
It's not to fit. I'm gonna take the half plate off him,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna sever his head.
Okay. It's gonna take you some effort.
That's fine. I will effort it out, and she's gonna sever his head and put it between his legs, so that his eyes are pointing at his crotch, basically, which is an insult to them. A way, it's an old elvish way of insulting them, to say you're just not good enough.
Okay.
And then she's going to drag the other bodies around. Doesn't care if the animals get this before anyone else does. They're likely to not go for the head anyway, and she knows that if any other hobgoblins come across what is essentially just the head of another hobgoblin, that it was probably killed by elves. And then she's gonna she's not even gonna bother trying to pick it up. She's just gonna drag the half plate back to the camp, making sure not to leave any kind of blood trails or scent trails or anything like that. So she will carry it for a bit, but it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she gets back, she'll clean off the half plate. Samira, can we set up your rain catcher?
Oh, and she starts standing up. Yeah. Just give me a second.
No, just give it to me. I'll do it. That's fine.
I'm already up. If I don't stand up and move right now, I'm not gonna move the whole night. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still afternoon, so the sun's just about getting ready to set, I think.
It's 5:45, approximately.
Yeah.
It's about an hour. It's gonna be probably earlier because it's raining.
Yeah, but the point of setting up the rain catcher isn't to catch rain. It's to deflect it off the tent and give us somewhere to put clothing so that it dries out properly. And essentially make kind of a funnel so that the rain runs off to a little area.
Yeah, because tents are not waterproof, by the way, you guys.
They are not.
Yeah.
So we're going to use the rain catcher to try and make the entrance to the tent as waterproof as possible and direct the rain off it and away from the campfire as well, and use that to kind of veer.
Hello?
We'll just
Was it me cutting out or?
Are we going to rest here for the night?
I think so. We're not in a good state to go on, really.
Yeah. Okay. And her head just kind of lolls, and she does what she can to clean herself up too, before just focusing on trying to get some rest. She doesn't seem too interested in much else at the moment. Grabbing, drinks from the water skin before filling it up, and then going to sleep.
Yep. And I'm gonna rinse out whatever the blood from my mouth and stuff like that, and spit that out. And then check on Snaga. Snaga, doing all right? What's he up to?
He's back in the tent now. He's chewing on the boar.
Okay. He's eating.
Yeah. He also looks sleepy now. It's getting dark. He's sitting there in a loincloth, basically.
Are you up for it?
I think if we keep our routine, that's the best thing we can do.
Snaga will sit and watch.
Okay.
And then Snaga will sleep.
Yeah. So we've got how many people in a 3-man tent?
A lot. It's very tight. Like nobody's lying down. Like just sitting there, right?
It's very cozy. Yeah, we're all sitting in like a tiny portion of the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for body warmth.
Yeah.
That's good for privacy.
Oh, here, there's also this thing, and he holds out the Unidentified Potion. I figured you might know better what it is. I have no clue. Looks nasty though.
Do I know anything about it from the look or the...
You can sniff it.
I'll uncork it and sniff it. See if I recognize...
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, you recognize this. This sounds like, this smells like Ankeg spit.
Ankeg spit.
They spit acid.
That's acid, yeah.
But
cork that back up and hand it straight back to Cassius.
It doesn't smell acidic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It smells like it has been changed, like brewed.
Okay.
It's not just like, Ankeg acid. It's a brew. It's made. It's
Do I get the impression that it's used for like coating arrows or weapons?
No. Like, I mean, you would have to like check it a bit better, like, give it a taste, maybe like a tiny lick, dip a finger in. It's not acidic, right? It's not like it doesn't sizzle when you touch it, or like if you dip something in it. It's more like a potion than a dipping thing.
Is it like acid resistance?
You don't know exactly. You would need an alchemist to like take a closer look. Okay. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. You know that like druids among your people have been using basically curing the poison with the same poison, right? Or using things like this to brew resistance, right? Okay. But you also know that there's a whole variety of things that can be done with potions, but you're not an expert. You just know the basics.
I'm no alchemist.
Yeah.
And I'll point that out. I'm no alchemist, but it's something to do with ankegs and acid or acid resistance, or potentially an antitoxin to their acid, their poison, something like that. Best bet's to get it checked by an alchemist. I think the plan is to head back to Sunset Hill, but then I think the likelihood is that we will probably end up going to Arable again. So maybe take it with you. You might be able to sell it or get it
Cassius
identified.
visibly brightens up when you mention going back to Arabelle.
I think
Ah,
we all need better supplies, and we are woefully underprepared for this.
yeah. And I think we can find a good place where to spend this stuff. And he packs the pouch with the coins and the gems.
How much
Yep.
do we get?
Quite a lot. Quite a lot. There's about 100, 200 coins in here, I think. Something like that.
That's nice.
A whole bunch of gems. Like, I have no clue, but they look pretty.
I dragged over the half plate that the leader was wearing. That will sell as well.
We first gotta find a way to carry that shit.
It will be heavy, but I will be able to take the half plate, if nothing else.
If we can just divide it up, I can take some of the share.
Actually, from the height, it height-wise would fit Stenom. It just would have wiggle room. You can tighten it somewhat. It would still have gaps, right? It wouldn't be a snug fit like on the Hobgoblin guy because he was big and muscular, right? But from the height, it would fit. No, like if she dons it, it would be easier to carry.
My current plan is to take it to an armor smith and have it traded in.
What I meant is like you still need to get it out of the forest.
Yeah, but it's only 40 pounds.
Yeah, no biggie!
Yeah, I'm not encumbered at all, so...
Anyway.
I can manage that.
Eventually it will get dark.
Yes.
So...
So...
How many arrows would Samira have gotten from Viera, giving the bow and arrows over?
Take your pick, there's 50-ish.
Yeah, I'm taking 20.
Quiver of 20 is pretty normal.
Yeah.
So... and no one else has a bow, so take those. If you want to carry some spares, you can take just the arrowheads. Because I can craft the rest during short and long rests, so I can make us arrows.
You would have to tell her what their arrowheads weigh versus the arrows.
Yeah, I mean I can do that anyway. So, I think 20 arrows weighs a pound. 20 arrowheads weighs way less than that.
It's on your sheet, Chris.
Yeah. Clicking it, hoping to see the weight, but it didn't show me. 0.02, same as a coin for an arrowhead.
0.02.
And then take as many arrowheads as you want from the remainder. There is going to be at least 23 arrowheads available.
Yeah, I'll take the 23 then.
So if Snarga's on watch, Viera is going to kind of get back into the tent and get under her winter cloak and then curl up, and for the first time any of you have ever seen, she basically curls up in a fetal position, not sitting doing her elven trance, and just goes straight to sleep.
That's a good idea. Cassius?
Yeah?
You gonna divide that up, or what are we gonna do with that?
We've got to find a way to carry it, but yeah, I mean, we can divvy it out, but probably in the morning.
Because if we go to Arabelle, then, you know, I can splurge money.
I can splurge money, don't worry about that.
Alright, I'm going to sleep now. Wake me if anyone wants to not do watch.
Yeah, I think we should let Steno Viera rest as much as possible.
Okay. Is Viera actually gonna sleep, or is she gonna do the Elven trance?
Full out sleeping until she gets woken up by anyone.
Okay. So Snaga will take the first 2 hours. He'll wake
I'll
up
take the second one.
Cassius. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cassius, roll me 1 perception check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Yep. Oh.
Nice.
It's a nice forest with rain. You
Yeah.
hate it. Sucks.
It's so, and especially now that I know we might go back to Eredol, it's even shittier now. It's like,
Yeah. And it's like there's still, but even with the rain, there's still way too much sounds around you that you have no idea what the fuck they are and if they're important or not important. And you're like,
Yep.
yeah, that's animals. It's great. Awesome.
Mhm.
Is that a wolf in the
Yep.
distance? Oh, great. It's a wolf in the distance. I'm so happy right now. Fuck's sake.
Yep.
Eventually, you wake up Samira, right?
Mhm.
Samira,
Yeah.
roll me a perception check. Normal, because you actually can see in the dark.
And you did
Wow!
worse.
Wow.
Hey, my first
Wow.
one.
You're like in the same shitty mood for completely different reasons, probably. Oh. You're sitting there and probably wondering what the fuck did you do to deserve all the shit going on in your life at the moment, right? Which deity did you actually piss off, right? But yeah, and then eventually you wake up Viera.
Mhm.
Viera. Sleep is not something you do usually, so like this is like you're like a bit groggy, right?
Yeah. Oh, my turn, I take it.
Yeah, you good to go? I can wake up Stena or someone else.
No.
Mm.
What time is it, roughly?
Let me 1,
All right.
2,
Just
3.
slap on a shoulder.
It's you have no idea. It's super dark. You can't see the stars.
Guess. Yeah, can't see the stuff. Let's say 3. I don't know.
Right. Is anybody else under my winter cloak at the moment?
Yes, Naga.
God damn it. She's gonna pull out the remainder of her winter clothing and put that on and kind of tear the other common clothes into rags. And then I'm gonna get out of the tent, sitting by the campfire and kind of stoke it up a little bit to keep it warm. And then pull out my herbalism kit and the last of my wild sage root, and I'm gonna start brewing another healing potion.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna kind of rest with my back against the tree.
Roll
I'm
me
breathing
a
in
perception
potion.
check.
Keep an eye out.
You hear an owl above you in the tree. Very quietly. Like
Is it the same owl?
it's the same owl. Right above
She'll
you
kind of struggle
on a
to
branch.
She'll struggle to her feet and kind of walk out a tiny bit so that she can turn around and look up. And she'll bow her head slightly
It bows its head slightly.
and just say, "I don't know why we deserved your help. But thank you.
Did they tell you about it?
We have a place. No, but I remember the owl,
Yes, you do.
and you told me in the pre-catch-up that he healed Snaga after I was awake.
Yes, you do remember
And
that.
then turned
Then
into
turn.
the owl
Yeah. Okay.
and shot down.
Yep.
So I do know it's him.
Okay.
Or it.
Yeah.
Or they. And she'll kind of having thanked it for intervening.
It does the 360 head turn, looking around, looks back at you, blinks, nods.
Are you from the other side?
Blinks and flies off.
At which point she'll just mutter under her breath, or was that part of the dream? And then she'll go back to doing the healing potion.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So basically you let the others sleep 2 hours longer so you can finish your healing potion, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna do the 4 hours healing potion.
The sky will, towards the morning, will start to brighten up and the rain will stop.
That'll please Cassius when he wakes up.
Yep. The forest is drenched. There's mud everywhere. Luckily, the road is mostly stone anyway. So it's not gonna be that muddy to walk on it. But yeah, it's gonna be a cool day because there's still clouds in the sky.
Yeah. Is the tree line above the road like broken in spaces? Can you see the sky?
Yes,
or...
yes.
Yeah, it is. Is there any sign of like clouds breaking?
It's not breaking. You don't see sky. Like it's the light cloud cover, like very bright clouds, right? The
like
sun
cloudy
hasn't.
Day,
Like it could break up, but you can't tell at the moment. It's like one of those like cloud covers where it can go either way. There's a slight breeze going, but like it would need a stronger wind probably to break it up quicker.
Yeah. I'm not going to scout very far, but just in the general direction of the bodies to see if any scavengers have come along in the night?
No.
No.
Nope.
Can't imagine they will.
Nope.
Our flesh must taste vile. And she'll head back to camp and then wake up Stano. She'll probably wake everyone up.
I mean, at this point, everyone will start stirring anyway, right? It's like...
Yeah, can I collect some not herbal herbs, but just kind of herbs that I would use to brew like a hot drink with, just to give it a tiny bit of flavor? I'll start brewing what is essentially a pot of tea.
Yeah.
On the fire, but it's more of a herbal tea than anything else.
By the time you're done brewing that, and everyone has like risen, gone, into the bushes for the business, the sun is gonna be up proper. It's about 6-7 a.m. You have no idea because again, gray sky. You can have a long rest now, you guys.
Yeah.
With your hit die roll.
I just wanted to get rid of that exhaustion. I still have 1, but it's better than 2.
Did it roll? No, it didn't. I guess fuck me, I guess.
Oh.
Same.
Yikes, Samira.
Yep.
Samir, you don't have to take over all of my rules. We talked about this.
Don't worry. You'll
I
be
haven't
fine.
even broken even. Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Crikey. That's a
Mm.
hit die recovery.
Damn.
Mm.
Yeah, that's right, because you got gored like twice in
Yep.
this fight, didn't you? Oh my god.
One that broke open the wound from last time, and the other one just right next to it. So fun times.
You have to stop getting hit in this area.
I mean,
Um,
if I could, I would.
We need to get you one of those like girdle belts that's made out of metal,
Oh.
so that if they do gore you, it just glances off the belt instead.
If you try to get me a chastity belt, I'm out of here.
It's not a chastity belt. You can take it off.
How vulgar. And I start to get dressed.
Snaga is already up and about,
Much.
carving some boar to like chop it up and reheat it.
Oh, that
Yes,
smells
char-grilled
wonderful.
boar. And there's some tea for everyone as well. So
Mm.
I can't promise you'll. Cassius probably won't want any, but it's more of a herbal brew than anything else. It'll
Hey,
just help wake your senses up.
Hey, Vera, do you know how to
Thank you.
dry out this? And I just slap down the still slightly wet boar pelt.
Oof.
Yeah.
Not here.
I want to make a nice fucking cloak out of that.
Snaga steps away from the camp for a little while, like out of sight, and then comes back, and basically he will check whoever is still in pain and shove some bark into your face.
Mm?
And he goes,
Do I
chew,
recognize it?
What's that?
chew.
Why?
It helps with pain.
Mm.
Just chew.
Alright.
Alright.
Vera will
What is it?
happily take some because she's still in pain.
It's
despite the
let
very
me
good
let me
recovery.
Vera, if you want, you can roll me a nature check to see if you recognize what it is.
Probably not.
Out of character, I know what it is, but I forgot the name.
It's bark of a willow tree. It's aspirin.
Yeah, that's
Oh
what it is.
yeah, it's aspirin.
That's what
It's
it
aspirin.
is. Mm.
Yes,
Mm.
definitely. Chew that. drink the
Stanov would
herbal
not
brew.
recognize the bark itself,
No.
but the smell of it
The smell, for sure.
from powders, right?
You normally powder it into a white substance, and then
Brownish substances.
Yeah.
That are fine.
yellowish brown. I
Yellowish
think.
brown, yeah.
From
White
plant.
substance.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
another few powders that do that, but I'm not sure if it helps against the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I
Those are
mean, they
mu-
do help
much
with the
more
pain
fun.
as well. To be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah. The upside of that.
You feel pretty good for a while.
Yeah. Used to be a prescribed thing not so long ago by doctors
Yeah.
for pain.
I mean, it's still a prescribed thing
Anyway,
for me.
Yep. Anyway,
don't do
camp.
drugs, kids.
don't. It's just not worth it.
You can
Break
joke
camp.
about it, but don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get dressed in essentially my winter clothing. The leather armor is torn to ribbons, so I'm just gonna discard it. But the common clothes I will piece out of it and just stuff into my backpack for now.
Man, the common clothes can be
So-
mended. He didn't shred you into pieces.
No, I know. The common clothes can be mended, that's why I'm shoving them in my pack. But we need to get moving.
Yeah.
So
Steno,
she'll ask Lena.
Steno would actually approach Viera and say, well, you can wear my jerkin if you'd like. It might be a
That's
little
okay.
baggy, but
I've got my winter clothing. I mean, it's not winter, but it's getting
It's fucking
cooler.
cold, you guys.
Yeah, it's cold in the mornings. It's warm in the afternoons. So the winter clothing
God damn it.
is it's gonna keep me warm.
It's
anyway,
about.
and
It's actually about
probably
6-7
keep me drier.
degrees, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
So thank you for the offer, but there's no need. I've got some, and hopefully once we get back to town, I can ask Samira if she can mend them. I saw she was
Okay.
doing some sewing.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can do it if you help me with this pelt.
I'm not sure you've got the time frame needed for a pelt.
I mean, if we need to
be able to
rest,
trade it.
can I get someone else to do it for me?
If you're planning to not go through the tower for about 3 weeks, then you've
Fuck.
got enough time. It's 3 to 4 weeks to tan a pelt
Ugh.
on a proper rack.
Why
And
can't I have anything?
You can
Well-
have the tusks, right?
Yes.
you've got the
Alright.
tusks. I'm sure there are boars in the other world. We
But
can hunt
not
you just
this
as good at one.
full.
You can bring it with. The chances are that it will spoil though, because
And I just
it does need
slaps
to
it
be
by
on
the
a
road.
needs to be on a rack. For,
Like slaps and
What?
kicks it. You know.
well,
kicks-
don't throw it. You might be able to trade it. The pelts are probably worth a fair chunk, especially a boar this size. Crikey, that pelt is probably.
It
worth
will
a
not
chunk of
spoil
coin.
in this temperature. You can actually, right? It's fine.
It
Just
won't-
keep it
yeah.
As
dry.
soon as you had spoiled, then she just blew it.
Well, you
Alright.
will need to prepare it, but we're heading back to Sunset Hill. We can probably do something to preserve it better. Obviously, there's still meat and flesh stuck to it at the moment, but
Alright.
we can clean
I'm
that
just-
off.
Because I'm just grumpy. Okay. She just goddesses again, reluctantly.
Hey, Cassius,
Yeah.
it stopped raining at least.
I noticed. We're
So there's one happy person in the group at least.
Out of character,
I'm happy when we get out of this shit. But
I have to ask Cassius: have we seen him switch through wardrobes? Like, does he have like different sets of clothes that he's been wearing?
no, he actually has the studded leather armor, and the clothing below it, it's worn, but it's actually quite fancy. It used to be quite fancy.
Used to be.
It's long since faded and patched, and yeah, it's not really looking that nice anymore.
At least it's dry again.
Okay. Yeah,
It's dry again.
It's
Yeah,
dry.
yeah.
So we've got dry boots and dry clothes. And break
Hey,
camp.
let's
I think.
divvy up this
What's the
stuff
plan?
as well.
What's the plan once we're back?
Well, let's get back first. We've still got a day and a half to go.
Snug will look at Cassius. Stuff? Divvy up stuff? What stuff?
Yeah. He pets
Yeah, what stuff?
the sack with coins and the gems, takes out one of the gems. This stuff.
Some of that's yours, Snaga.
Where did you find that? Was that on the fallen?
Mine?
Alps?
Snuggus? What?
Not all of it,
Not.
Snaga.
Calm down. We can divvy it up. So yeah, we need to carry it anyway. This bag with the gems is quite. Yeah, I can carry it, but the coins, it might be nice to already give everyone some.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The gems would have to hit like Arabelle again to get their worth.
All right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to trade them at a jeweler's, and I
Yeah.
think you're
Or
probably the
maybe we
best
can
person.
keep- If that's the question, is there gonna be same coinage on the other side? Maybe the gems would be good to keep.
Gems might be good to keep. You don't know. The gemstones in that bag might be worthless in the other world. They might be as wealthy as diamonds.
We
True,
should probably
true.
use what we can to equip ourselves on this side first.
Yep. Spend it
Yeah.
while we have it. I would say.
Well, I would say let's keep some of the gems.
Mm-hmm.
If we need to convert them, then by all means convert them. But if we don't have to, I think it would be smart to keep them. They're much lighter than the coin. So better.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. The
Yes.
question is, when we cross that bridge, are we heading for Sunset Hill? Or are we heading straight for Arable? Because it's a day's journey, or half a day's journey to Sunset Hill.
Sunset
out of
Hill.
The way of Arable.
Snaga like glares at you.
But what is in Sunset Hill, Snaga?
Father.
His
Father is in
father?
Sunset Hill. Father needs to know the Snaga is alright.
Okay.
I mean,
Perhaps
can,
Snaga, Vieira, and Samira head for Sunset Hill?
Oh. If we're going to Arabelle, I'm going to Arabelle.
Okay.
if we're going to Arabelle, and if we gotta spend some of this stuff, I would rather not go.
Snaga,
Yes,
Snaga will
We
put a free fingered hand on Vieira's arm.
That's okay, I can go with you to Sunset Hill.
No,
So-
no. He shakes his head. No. Do you
We
promise
should
to
all
come back?
probably go with Snaga back to Sunset Hill and spend some time there first.
Why?
Small town life isn't like ideal.
Why,
Alright.
Cassius? It's cheaper if we're staying there for several days to recover and prepare, and it's closer to the Hulak. So
Cassius looks at all the gold that they have.
Arabelle will be fine for the purposes of gathering supplies, but we should not tarry there.
Yes.
we should
Any
be going
major
to Arabelle
supplies.
for a day
Yeah.
and sell everything, get what we need. But perhaps Sunset Hill is a better point to go to first. We should get our heads together, figure out what we need, then go to
Snaga
Arabelle.
tugs at your arm.
Fine. All right. Out
No,
of character
no,
for me,
no, no. Shh.
Oh, I wanted to divide it up the loot handily. There's a
Snaga,
button
like,
here that says
interrupts
split
you.
4 ways. I have to do it manually.
Just start flicking copper coins at him.
Get out my calculator and
Can you guys still hear me, by the way?
Oh, we can now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome.
yeah.
Definitely.
Because Snaga was like talking to you the entire time. Snaga
Oh,
will
didn't.
tug you at the arm, Viera.
Yes.
Do you promise to
Oh,
come?
you want?
Do you promise to come back
Yes,
from
Of
Arabelle?
course.
Well, then Snaga can go to Sunset Hill, and you can go to Arabelle and then come back if you promise. Do you promise?
Yes, of course.
No. And he like
We're
shakes his
gonna-
head. You have to say,
I
I promise.
Naga, I give you my elven promise. I will return to Sunset Hill to find you.
He nods.
We don't know the rest of the way in the Hulak Forest anyway, so we still need you. And
He hugs you awkwardly.
I don't. She winces because she's still in pain.
I mean, he's not like smothering you. He's like sort of like
Yeah, I
putting
know, but
arms
she's
around
still
you.
wincing.
Yeah, and it's like barely
Yeah,
touching you even.
Any movement is gonna cause her stomach muscles to move.
Yeah, okay, then he's gonna shove the willow bark at
So-
you.
Yeah, she's already eating it.
Yeah.
Break camp, unless anybody wants to do anything else, and start moving.
Yeah, he's gonna help break camp.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically everything that Vieira was doing prior in the last few days, he's now taking over.
Sounds good to me.
Compatible?
Not quite.
Why?
So, do we need to divvy up stuff for carrying it? I'm encumbered anyway.
Yeah.
I see.
Same.
Same.
We're all
So
pretty much
we're all encumbered. So
Snog is encumbered with boar meat.
yeah, that's fine. And we can snack on that as we go down the road. The question is, do we want to push ourselves? A day and a half gets us to... Not if we're breaking and going for Arable. It's like 3 days to Arable, isn't it?
So
I say,
I did a new calculation based on where you stopped. You can make it in a day out of the forest, not quite to the bridge. You're half a day away from the bridge at the end. If you go a normal day without pushing it, you're then half a day away from the bridge, basically. If you look at the map.
Yeah, and then it's how many days from the bridge to Arable?
Half a day. You would have to push 2 hours past your 8-hour journey to get to Sunset Hill, right? All the
Yeah,
way.
we had like a day's travel.
If you
in
get to the
past.
bridge, and I'm sorry I didn't calculate Arabelle directly. Let me get to the map and do that.
What's this? You're unprepared.
Oh shush, I have a map for that. Activate.
I'm
Okay.
kidding.
Let's see.
Because I remember us camping at least once on the crossroads to Bospier.
I have it on the calendar that we started traveling on the 15th and arrived on the 16th in the evening, I think.
So let's see.
Yeah. But the bridge is actually like 35 miles.
Yeah, 40 miles. And you encumbered.
That's a hefty 2 days unencumbered.
No. I think you're making 20 miles a day when you're encumbered. Let me double check.
Well, we're moving at 15?
20 feet.
I have a table
20
for that. 20 feet. You're making 16 miles a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2 days.
Yeah.
And a bit.
And you can push the
From
last
the
bit
bridge.
to Arabelle. It doesn't matter if you get, exhausted because you're gonna be in Arabelle.
Yeah, that's fine. So the question is, do we want to push it so that we make it to the bridge by the end of the day, and then it's 2 days to Arable?
Snaga will actually flat out, like veto pushing past the bridge. Like, no, to get to the
we're not going to
bridge.
push
To get to the bridge, right.
So
It's like,
we're just going to get out of the forest.
out of the forest. Normal 8-hour
Yeah.
travel day.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So with a couple of the things that were done out of session last week, we only need 1 water skin each. Everybody has a water skin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No?
I have replaced my wine with water.
Okay.
Thank you.
Double check. And we've all got plenty of food. So
Yeah.
Yep.
that's good.
I calculated the gold and I put it in OSC, what we would each get. There's a little bit of math involved, but we have to decide who gets.
Is that also with like Snaga getting his share?
Yeah, because I could split it 4 ways, but
Okay,
that's
let me
what Henry does.
let's get that out of the way first, because we're gonna
Okay.
time skip the journey. So Snaga gets how much before we start calculating?
Well, the full part, right?
Yeah,
Just
just
divide
tell
by
me.
So I did the gold first, all the gold coins. So it would be 34 times 4, and 1 person takes 33.
Wait.
Otherwise it's
So, okay, I need to slowly add everything up.
So who's the odd one out each time? We gotta
I don't
figure
mind.
that out. Okay.
You can give me the least amount every time if you'd like.
I don't mind. I'm carrying half plate that's worth a fortune.
Actually, Snaga will take the lesser, the 33.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 34 gold each, then 33 for Snaga. Then
So
it's
then 9 silver each.
9 silver each, 8 silver for Snaga.
And 7 copper, and 1 person takes 9.
That's gonna be Snaga.
Yep. So
Alright.
that's a decent chunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still have the 13 gemstones as well.
Yep.
They weigh nothing, by the way. You don't have to worry about it. They're literally 0.008 per gemstone.
Okay.
Excellent. We should
Nothing.
just trade those coins for
Well,
gems.
maybe
Did you
one
just
of the things we
say?
should.
Sorry, Arrow. Did you just say sexcellent?
Yes.
What?
I just ignored it and
Oh
carried on
wow.
going.
Okay. Oh man. Oh the cringe. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Let's move on.
Ah man, I thought my
Um,
puns were bad.
So, yeah, so we're just gonna head out of the forest. Normal days travel. I am encumbered,
Same.
so I can't do anything else whilst we're moving. Can I? Is there I need
There's
to
no
double check.
rule about being encumbered. You still apply the same ranger stuff. You're just slower.
So, in which case, I'm going to specifically search for wild sage root on the way out.
Question:
Roll
Did
it.
anyone
Whilst we
take anything else from all that stuff? Because
I
there's
took
like the
the-
rations and everything.
Yeah, I'm busy dividing the rations now.
I didn't take any rations because I had 18 days worth of dry food rations already, and I dumped a lot of it.
Okay, so because I'm already encumbered, why the fuck not? I'm taking a great sword and 1 chainmail with me.
Oof. Did
If
you
I
take a
can.
long bow?
I think I took a longbow already. No worries.
Okay, and the arrows. Okay.
Yeah. If we are already encumbered, I may as well take the remaining longbows if they're light. Just whatever's left for those.
Yeah, you can do.
Just because it is
might-
tough to make a longbow.
You might be able to sell them.
Yeah.
Or get Cassius to sell them.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking the chainmail. I just realized how heavy it is.
Yeah. Fuck the chainmail.
Chainmail's really heavy.
I'm taking
Yeah.
long
I was
swords,
waiting
not
for it.
chainmail. Long
Like,
swords.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's because Samira took one longbow. That would mean there was 4 left or 5. Because did the leader guy have a longbow?
The leader had one because he hit. He took
He
a
had
shot
javelins.
Oh no, that's right. He shot him with. He
So
hit him with a
4.
javelin,
Okay.
not a
So
bow.
4. I'll take those and whatever remains for the arrows.
And there's
That's
also
it.
3 rations for 2 people and 2 rations for 3 people. That makes sense.
I'll take a 2, which I'm not going to bother writing down because we're going to use them on the way to Arable.
Yeah, I mean that's probably fine.
Eat the bad rations first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you make it out of the forest, no problem. You're gonna have a short rest after 4 hours. And
Do I get my wild sage root?
yes, I did tell you to roll it.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that at all.
Yeah, roll it.
Uh,
You already know the
survival
DCs.
check.
Yeah.
Don't make the DC.
Wow, it's that with advantage?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you don't find it.
I'm too much in pain to see any herbs.
Well, yeah, and the one that was close to the road you already picked on the way into the forest, so.
Yeah, makes sense.
No wild sage root, I'm sorry. You can make another check for the afternoon. It's already like out in the field.
It doesn't matter. She'll give up trying to find any if she doesn't find any in the first half. She just wants to get out of the forest as well. As much as she loves woods, this particular forest is a bad place. So even she's happy to get out. Sunset Hill is a much quieter, calmer place to go. So.
Okay. And then you make it to the bridge in half a day after that. And at the crossroads, Naga will say bye-bye. And he will be like, well, see you in a few days in Sunset Hill.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 4.
Yeah.
Probably a day in Arabel, so at least 5.
He will
We'll be back,
lift up his two
sometime
hands
around
with the
Harvest
6
Tide,
fingers
I guess.
and wiggle the fingers.
Mhm.
6.
Sure. 6 days.
Wave. Bye.
How many days is it to High Harvest Tide right now? It's 5, isn't it? And High Harvest Tide is the 6th day.
You arrive at the bridge basically on the 27th of the
At the
lane.
end. Okay.
Mhm. 1, 2, 3, 4
So
days.
we're gonna get to Arabel just in time for High Harvest Tide.
Mhm. Exactly.
Which is good because we might be able to hitch a lift with a caravan on the way back.
Okay. There was that land.
Yeah.
So,
Very likely.
Sarah is every day healing herself by 1 point, just as an FYI. Since she can do that.
Lol. Alright, yeah, so I'll just get rid of that exhaustion point and add those weights and things to inventory,
Yeah.
etc.
Oh, so we get another long rest, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
But
Oh,
unless
yeah.
someone is spending the
Cassius
healers,
looks
we don't heal.
at Steno.
Oh yes, I will definitely tend to do any leftover ones as well. So I'll use 2 applications of that and see where that gets people. If it's
Yeah.
not enough, I'll do it again until everybody's back up.
Oh,
So let me just double check the feet to see. Hey, what the heck? Oh, it's at the bottom of the screen. Yep. So just go ahead and roll your hit dice.
better.
Good now.
Okay. Awesome.
well, hello.
On my
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no?
Oh, I cut out again. What were you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Hello?
All right, let's keep moving. Let's get to Arabel.
Test.
Come on.
Test. Hello.
Test.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, you're back again. I
Yeah.
think
Hello.
it's cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, something's going on, but like
We
I
can hear each
can't
other,
hear
but not
you.
you.
I can't hear you for a while, and then it like works again.
Yeah, strangely we can talk to each other meanwhile, but not
Yeah.
you.
No, it's
Yeah,
something
she
on my
needs
side.
connection, I think.
Yeah, it's like I had
Mhm.
today like issues with it. At least everything else is working. But anyway, what were you guys talking about? While I was gone.
Oh.
We were just healing up and
Yeah.
using up healer kit applications and pointing out that Cassius is 1 hit point short. But
Samira is not gonna do anything about that.
no.
Damn.
There we go. I
So,
reduced
yeah.
the
Fine.
amount
Just
of
better
windows I
flush
have.
He was a bit too curious at that dark vision reveal. So he's not doing shit right now.
There's mostly nothing happening on the journey to Arabel, by the way. You do come past that spot again where you had the Ankeg.
Mhm.
There's the pile. Unless you want to really poke the pile, there's nothing happening.
No.
So what day would it be?
That
we
would be the
arrive?
next. Wait, I was about to fast forward the calendar.
We arrive basically
In
tired.
On the
on
20th.
the 29th.
28th? Oh no, 29th.
27th was the bridge, and there's 2 days to
Yeah.
Arabelle.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah.
29. And then you've got the 30th. Maybe we should spend High Harvest Tide, which is the day after the 30th in Arabelle as well. Just a thought.
I'm all for it.
Before we do any Arabelle stuff, do we want to take the break now instead of cutting mid?
Yeah.
Mid Arabelle?
I think that would be a
I
great
think
idea.
that's a good
Good
idea.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do a
Gonna-
quick
Let's
break
see.
and then we can switch over to Arabelle.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
Sounds good.
take
Sounds
10 minutes, you guys, and
Alright.
I'll be right here.
See you guys later.
And we're back. So,
Yep.
what?
Hello.
Nothing.
Why rip?
Carry on.
Why rip?
We're back.
So, let me start it off by hitting play on this. Actually, no, it would be night, because you're arriving at night. So, you arrive to a quiet city, more or less, as quiet as a city can be, right? The checks at the gate will be a bit stricter because it is evening already when you arrive. And you kind of find a tavern. I mean, it's not like it's an unknown city to you at this point, right? You're probably gonna gravitate to the same places you've been in before, because, you know, unless Stena wants to make a different recommendation that is not 6 gold per hour.
No, she's been a little bit humbled. So as far as taverns are concerned, if they're connected to an inn, that'd probably be ideal. And she has 2 recommendations for people. One being the Elf Skull Inn. It's a little bit more pricey, so so it is a bit more expensive. But if you're looking for comfort, otherwise the Nine Fires. She seems actually kind of eager to go to the Nine Fires.
The Nine Fires is super cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll
The other one is called Elf
Skull.
Skull. Yeah. Cassie's
Yeah,
got
doesn't
looked
sound
up.
good.
Looked
I
up
mean,
at that. It's like,
Stena will be able to tell you that's actually a known. There's a local story that is haunted by an elven ghost.
Skip.
yeah. The Nine Fires. Fire sounds lovely. You can see
They
as
have many
as they
books.
kind of get in the city, and Cassis looks around and does this like intake of air with the smell like. Yes.
Whereas
This
Vieira
is so
takes a
much
deep
better.
breath and is like, holy Jesus, is this
Yeah,
stuff?
probably smells like piss. And not
Horse
really.
manure in the road mixed with drunken people throwing up in it. And
Amazing. Smells
welcome
like home.
home.
The
This is
the
the
Nine
best.
Fires is very quaint. I doubt you'll find too many people drinking over this way. Come.
Alright.
Follow her lead.
As long as they have drinks, I'm good.
As long as it's comfortable.
Oh, it's very comfortable, and they have so many books. It's run by an adventurer, or previously, at least. You enjoy stories, so.
Well, we have a few new stories to tell, I guess.
Yes, we do. Just for rest. When it comes to the and she like lowers her voice so that nobody can no ambient people around can hear. When it comes to the gemstones, I know a few places we can go, but otherwise, yeah, go this way. So I notice it's very cheap, but I don't know the exact cost, Shin. So that'll be up to you.
I will tell you in 5 minutes once I put the muffins into the muffin molds. So, but sorry, I'm a mom. I gotta multitask.
Yeah, it's all good.
But this is basically the place, because you guys reached. Um, you're getting another. You can round
Stop
off.
eating the muffin batter while you're talking.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
You're
resist.
just taunting us. Not only are you not at the PC, you're eating muffin batter.
Round your XP off to 900, Smarty
Whoop
Pants.
whoop. Whoop whoop.
Oh,
900.
Because you did
shit.
a bunch of RP in the meantime as well.
Nice.
So you can push your leveling days together.
Ooh.
But not in Arabelle because it's going to be expensive here.
No, I was excited for a fighting pit.
I mean, I have to pick up some stuff for my 3rd level feature in Arabelle, so.
Yeah.
I know some places you can go, Samira.
So here's the time where you want, because you actually changed the original plans. The original leveling was supposed to be in Sunset Hills, so now you're in Arabelle. So what you gonna do for the next 4 days? Let's start there.
Well, we said we'd be back in Sunset Hill in 6 days' time, and it's a 2-day travel.
Yeah, so you're gonna spend 4 days in Arabelle.
So first business is to gather everything together, including ourselves.
Yeah.
Decide what we're gonna sell.
And
Decide what we're gonna buy. And then we can all worry about having personal time.
You can find people in Arabelle who can reduce the time of the tanning.
Industry tanning.
Yes.
Instead of in the wilds.
It would still take a week. But
yeah, I'm just gonna sell
a 10
it.
day.
A 10 day,
It's gonna take
yeah.
a 10 day. You say that, but we have to train for 4 days for level 2
and for 6 days for level 3. Yeah.
That's a 10
Oh,
day.
we're staying here to train.
Well, we said we'd go back to Sunset Hill.
But you can make a trip back and forth.
But we could
Yeah,
make
we could
a
always
trip
go back
to
there.
Arabelle to pick it up.
Yeah, it's a 2-day trip. It's not like it takes you that long.
So we're in Arabelle for 4 days. 2 days back to Sunset Hill.
And I'm counting the journey, by the way, as part of it as well.
Okay.
If you want.
2 days in Sunset Hill, 2 days back to Arabelle. That's our 10 day. Pick up the tan tide and then head for the hillock after that. And we can bring Snaga back to Arabelle. Or tell him to meet us on the bridge. On the appropriate day.
I mean,
if no one's against it,
yeah, fine.
that would be awesome.
I wouldn't mind staying in Arabelle the whole time.
Take the time anyway, yeah.
Yeah, be okay with that.
And I think after 4 days in Arabelle, Vieira would be more than happy to head to Sunset Hill on her own, even if nobody else wants to come with.
Because Vieira wanted to actually gather herbs as well and make a bunch of healing potions.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to spend some of my 6 days scouting to the edge of the Hulak, kind of, and down the river side towards Sunset Hill, but on the other side of the river. Kind of along the forest edge. I know it's not quite along the riverbank, but she's basically going to scout the edge of the forest for gathering herbs, rather than go in. Kind of going down to the Wyvern Water. But other than that, do we want to decide what we're selling?
Yeah.
Let's start with that, yeah.
And then we can put that in a pile and send Cassius and Steno off to sell it. Steno would probably know the best places to go. Cassius do the talking.
Yeah. Seems legit.
Sounds
I
good.
I have my personal goods listed in the OOC that I for sure would like to sell.
Okay, so if we're keeping the bull pelt to be, dried and stuff, then I'm gonna sell a heavy crossbow, a great sword, and 2 long swords.
Steno, roll me for the identification. Let's start there. Roll me.
Okay, so that would.
No, roll me a history check.
There aren't any arrows to sell either, by the way.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Here, I'll get rid of those.
Because
there you go.
Samira and I divvied them up.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't hear that part. My bad. Rolling.
Roll me a history check because magical services is not something that you per use, so you would have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knew 2 places. Actually, you know that one place is cheaper. So you would be able to get Cassius to the place where it costs only 75 gold to identify a magical item. That's the base price, Cassius. You can try.
75 gold?
Yeah.
Kush.
It is. You do need to request a spell from a wizard, and they are not keen on giving out their spell slots, of course.
A spell for what?
You don't know what a spell slot is, Steno, in character?
They are not keen on giving out their magic reserves.
I mean, we can go to a shop and see if they have some magic stuff, but why wouldn't you need a spell?
No, that's for identify.
To identify your coin?
I know.
Yeah.
But he does. Well, you guys don't know I have the coin.
No.
We don't know yet, and we won't fit anyway.
So, like, as far
not giving it up.
So she's a little confused, but she's like, "Well, we could just go to somebody to identify an item and look at its history, but why?"
Oh no, like I assume that
what?
Cassius actually shared that he needs the service and
No.
Steno would. Okay, never mind.
No,
That
he
Steno
didn't.
never say any of this ever.
The only thing Cassius would do is point out that we may want to identify the potion and seek the services of someone to identify the
and we
potion.
might want to go to a magic
And at
item
the same
shop to
time
see
actually
what-
slip him the coin and go, and that one as well, I'll pay you separately,
See?
don't tell anyone.
Okay.
Chris knows the roguish ways.
I'm so used to playing a rogue, yep.
But yeah,
So-
as far as like alchemists are concerned, I mean,
Steno would know a place where they do both, like magical stuff and, you know.
for sure.
Maybe we can get this someone to know something about this potion. Perhaps.
Oh,
maybe?
do I wanna
If they
do
do-
this? Wait, do I wanna, Chris?
What?
I mean, I don't know. Nobody knows what you want to do. So.
Yep.
Oh wait, let me see the chances. I'm gonna give it a chance. Ignore this roll, please.
Okay.
God damn it! I gave it 25% chance to roll 23. Steno, you know a really cool place? It's in the side alley next to the Wild Goose.
Okay.
It's a really obscure, it's almost like a curiosity shop, and most people kind of don't even know about it because it's in the side alley. It doesn't really stand out. It has like dirty windows and stuff, but like when you go in, you usually find like all kinds of like interesting knickknacks, and you actually know it from your master's friend. You know, the nobleman who was your master's patron basically and best friend in Arabelle. Yeah, so you know it from him.
Oh yeah. So
And he like pointed out this shop, and he kind of pointed out like a with a mischievous glint a bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And it's funny too because the area that this is in is like out of the way and not very seldom trod.
Yeah,
either.
yeah, exactly. It's like a shitty side alley next to the Wild Goose, right? It's a shitty tavern inn.
Yeah.
And in a bad place, they're not bad, but like, you know, I'm a bit more rundown place of the town. And again, nobody knows about the shop because it's like tucked into the alley all the way in the back.
Yeah. So Steno's guiding
It's
Cassius like
called
through the town, and then
Ysila's Curios and Trinkets.
all right. Yeah, so she guides him through like the nice area of town, and he's probably looking around at like all the nice shops or whatever, and then she like takes a sharp turn and head through this kind of like small maze until it gets like shittier and shittier. And it's like this right here is Stella's
It
curio.
doesn't look like anything. It looks like actually like it's been closed ages ago, and the glass windows, the shop windows are completely caked in dust. Like you can barely make out that there's an interior. It looks dark and dingy from the outside, right? And then you have this like sign that says Ysila's Curios and Trinkets.
Hi, Steno, are you taking me a place to get robbed? I thought we knew each other better than that.
Oh, we certainly do. Although whether the robbing comes from you or from the dealer herself, well, I suppose that's on you.
I mean, this
She
place
opens the
seems
door.
shady as shit.
Who's going
I
with
like
them,
it.
by the way? Who's along for this?
I'm guessing I have to go along because they can't carry all this shit.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a multi-purpose store as well. By the way, it's not just like it's kind of like you heard about it always, like Steno. You never actually went yourself,
Mhm.
and you kind of just picked it up from the conversation between your master and like this guy. By the way, his name is Kimorn.
Kimorn. Oh.
Your master's friend. Chris's
All right.
eye is twitching.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah. So, she doesn't seem to be phased too much, or like trying to like dunk on anybody, like she had with the lavender lion. That was pretty outstanding. So she steps aside and starts looking around, and then starts like actually appearing to be curious as she takes in the
So
shop.
who is here?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So you step in. It's not a big shop, right? But it's definitely bigger than you expected originally when you step through. When you push the door open, there's like a ding ding ding, right? And step in. It actually smells clean. Not as dusty as you would expect it. The floor is clean. There's a lot of stuff. And I mean a lot, right? You basically step in, and you can't even see the counter from all the stuff like in the middle that's like piled on shelves and stuff. It's orderly, but it's a lot, right? It's not like, it doesn't look like a trash collection, but it's like you have like a basket full of like swords, you have like various types of creature eyes pickled in jars. Basically it looks like a mixture between normal items, spell components, weird shit, right, that you didn't even begin to understand what the heck it is. There's like old leather tomes tucked in between, right? It's like a lot to take in at the first glance. And then you like turn the corner, and then you get basically to the counter, and it's like it's dim light, but it's like enough to see. Basically, you can't really identify where the light comes from exactly. And then behind the counter, there's a like the space, and there's a door leading to the right, which is like on the right wall. And there's a door which is on the back wall, like behind the counter on the left side in the corner. And that door has those like beads, a bead curtain, right? And from that bead curtain comes out this man, and he's like about 5'9", 10-ish, slender. And the first thing that you will notice is his shock white hair, which is kind of like brushed back. It's like kind of like Cassius's length, right? In hair length. He has a scar going along the left side of his face, basically narrowly missing his left eye. And his eyes are a vivid gold color. And he looks at you and kind of like smiles and is like, Welcome to my store. What can I do for you?
Hi, good afternoon. We're interested in some of the items you have on display here, and also taking a look at a potion that we found, or a bottle that we found. And the Cassius pulls out the bottle, since it puts it on the counter.
He kind of like picks it up with one hand and does this like, almost like a magician's hand movement where he like reaches from behind the bottle over around it and it's gone, and then he like twists his other hand and it appears in his other hand, and he kind of looks at it and kind of tilts it this way and tilts it that way, and he uncorks it and sniffs it and kind of rumples his nose, corks it back up. Interesting. This might take me a bit. I might have to take it to the back. It smells. Is it from an insectoid creature? Where did you get this? And he kind of looks at all of you.
Yeah, we found it. It was in a sack. It was already in the bottle. I'm not sure if it's from an insect. Viera, you said something it coming from?
Likely from an ink egg.
Yeah.
Enkeg. And he kind of taps his lips. You will have to give me a day to properly analyze this, and then I can tell you what it is.
All right. And how much would that set us back?
Well, it is not directly magical, so doesn't fall under the identification services. Tell you what, depending on what else you're getting, it might be cheaper. What else do you need? And he kind of like
interest in buying alchemical ingredients.
Depends on the ingredients. As you can see, I have all manner of standard ingredients already. Plenty of them.
I will force Abel's hands into cupping them together, and then pour a couple of seeds into his hands. And then just whisper, I'll let you do the talking.
What are they?
He kind of leans forward onto his elbows and kind of steeples his fingers and kind of leans his chin on the knuckles and smiles at Cassius. Like, lips curling upward, eyes glinting.
They make a growth potion.
Ah, so you see, and he pulls out the seeds. These are found by my ranger friend over here. Apparently, they will make you as large as a mountain, I believe. I don't know much about it, but it's at least worth quite a sum of money, I would say.
May I take a look?
Of course.
And he kind of leans forward and waits for you to hold it out.
And holds out the seeds.
And he reaches and you will notice his robes are almost like wizard robes. They're like multi-layered, right? And he reaches kind of inside the robes and pulls out a monocle, a looking glass, right? And puts it tucks it into the cord, to his left eye, and he takes a look. These are interesting indeed. Have you noticed the heartbeat when you squeeze them? And he gives you a wink.
Cassius smiles back. Yeah, it was very noticeable. Someone as keen of eyes and touch as my friend here. She already took note of that.
Well, what do you want for it?
I'm interested to hear what you have in your store here. Something that could be beneficial for traveling in the forest, or something that can help in combat.
Well,
Dealing
and
with
he kind
combat
of
or
leans
afterwards.
back, takes the monocle out, and kind of widens his arms. Yislav's Curious and Trinkets has anything you can possibly imagine, and then some, for the right price, if you can afford it.
I mean, something, let's say in the 100 gold-ish price range. What do you have available? And below that. 100 gold and below, let's say.
Now the GM needs to look it up. Give me a second.
Sure.
Give me a moment.
It's actually awesome how many magic items are like within a good price range of like between 50 and 100 gold. It's awesome.
I'm opening up the same magical prices.
Most of them aren't very useful per se. They're just really neat.
Neat.
Vieira will whisper to Cassius that the seeds in his hand are probably worth 4 times that. Just so he knows.
That's good to know.
Well, he will start pulling various things out. So, like, first of all, he will pull out potions of healing because they're in the price range, right? And then he will like pull out like something that looks like scrolls, like paper scrolls, and then he will give you bunch another look, and then shake his head and put them back.
None of us can read.
Excuse
Pardon
me, do we need
me.
to put the dots up again?
Pardon me. What were those?
Those were spell scrolls.
Oh.
For wizards, I presume.
Exactly. None of you looks like the wizarding kind. He will also pull out a vial that looks like glowing pink liquid and slide it over towards Cassius with a wink. Explain it's a filter of love. Oh yes, he is abso-fucking-lutely flirting with you, by the way.
Yeah, Cassius doesn't mind. He looks at it and I personally have no need for this, but
I'm sure you don't. Curls lips into a smile.
So the healing potions might be interesting, possibly. Although my elf friend here can craft these. So these seeds, from what I've heard, are worth quite a bit of money. So what do you have in terms of items that can be used multiple times?
Nothing in that price range.
A little bit higher then. And let's say about 400.
It would help the GM if you would actually ask what you're looking for.
I mean, I am.
There's so much stuff,
player.
right?
All right.
So multiple times. So that's like no potions, right? That's consumables. Let me go into actual combat items.
That would help us carry more things in that price range.
Oh.
Because we are permanently carrying too much stuff.
Well, bags of holding and similar packs are much more than a few hundred gold.
How much are they, out of curiosity?
Well, the backpack, that it would be around 2,000 gold. And
there
and
anything-
just by the way, he also has smaller like pouches of holding that are cheaper, but I have to get back to you on that, right? Because I need to find my separate list for this.
I'm not sure how closely we're standing, but can Vieira nudge Cassius and whisper, "Is there anything you can do to lower the price?"
I mean, we have quite a bunch of items to trade to possibly lower the price of one of these pouches of holding, possibly.
Maybe you
trade
have
them.
something else more interesting to offer. And he quirks an eyebrow and looks you directly in the eye.
I mean, we'll be in town for a couple of days. I'm sure we can come back and spend some time. But pleasantries aside, I do also have something else that might be interesting. And he pulls out the coin, slides it on the table.
He puts the
Again,
monocle back in. Right. Interesting. I haven't seen these in a while. I have a few of them in a box somewhere. But it's been a while since somebody came to me with one. And then he just smiles at you.
So, if we give you these seeds and possibly some other more mundane items such as gold, and we have a couple of other things up our sleeves, and we could get this this and the potion identified, could we buy one of these handy pouches or the bag itself?
I'm sure we can arrange something, you and I.
Great. So, kind of looks
Yeah,
at the rest of the
he's
party.
waiting for something. You gotta give me more, mate. You gotta give me more. You know, he's waiting, right? You have before you, and you will recognize this because similar people recognize each other, or like of similar ilk. This guy is you with way more life experience and knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And also magic stuff.
Yes. Right? So he's not gonna fall for the stuff that, the typical people you're usually dealing with would fall for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm trying to get
But he's also not
estimate.
pressuring you into anything. He's just like waiting for you to give him something that basically makes him curious enough to bite, right?
I mean, look at the rest of the party. This bag sounds useful. We can.
Are you, by chance, interested in the Tower of Hulak Forest at all?
No.
Can I insight check him?
Yes, you can. It's really difficult to read him, right? What are you exactly looking for?
Just wondering if he's interested in esoteric things like the location of the Hulak Tower or other esoteric
You can't, you don't know if you can, like, he seems curious about all of you, right? The insight check with what you rolled would have been enough for you to notice that he gave each one of you a proper look.
Sized us up.
Right. But it's not just sized you up as clients. It's more. You can't quite put your finger on it. And there's another thing that you notice when you mentioned the tower, is that he's not interested in it. There's an odd underlying bitterness in that laugh. It's very subtle, but you wouldn't know why. Like it's not standing out too much. But one thing that you would absolutely notice, and this is also something that the others would notice, like he looks permanently like he knows way more than he like says.
Letting on.
But it also seems like he's showing that on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Well, perhaps if you can give us a little more of what it is you're after. You seem intrigued by us.
And
almost curious.
In this moment, like it's like when he shifts his attention 100%, right? He kind of puts up that monocle again, right, and looks at you at obviously up and down, and then returns with that same, lips curling up into that smile with the glint in his golden eyes. You're very far from home and your people, and very young for one of your kind. What would you like to offer me?
What do I have that I could give other than material possessions?
A feather. And he locks eyes with you, not blinking, in the way where it leaves no doubt what feather he means.
I would need to know why and what you intend to do with it.
He shrugs. Nothing nefarious.
Would any harm come to the creature the feather belonged to?
Oh no.
And you could give me your word on that.
I will give you my word of honor.
And this feather is worth the bag? Or just the identification of the items?
I would say the feather would cover the identification of the items. But you would have to bring the feather first.
I would prefer to cover that with coin.
That is also an option. It would be a total of 100 gold. The coin and the potion. And he returns to look at Cassius and smiles, looking expectantly.
Hey, but if we would also sell you these seeds, how much would that give us?
Well, I assume you are actually gonna lay the bit in thick there. I'm gonna rescue you here. Roll my persuasion check.
Right.
I would offer you 75 gold per seed. If you come back tomorrow night, then we have a little tea.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. And how many seeds were there, Chris?
8.
8.
600 for all the seeds.
Okay.
And he'll have you put them on the counter, and he will do the same hand motion where he just like puts the hand over them, slides backwards, and they're gone.
Can I, as a someone who's adapted sleight of hand, see what if he's like
Roll me a perception.
where he's putting them, or if he's magically?
Roll me a perception.
Pretty shit at perception, but oh,
That's not a normal sleight of hand.
Whenever you're rolling, Abel, always start it with the sentence, "I'm pretty shit at insert skill name."
Yeah. It is a sleight of hand in the sense of that he tricks the eye to make it look like a sleight of hand, but it isn't.
All right. Now that's impressive. That's a good trick.
And he will look at you and say, I know way more tricks. Eyebrow wiggle.
I'd wager, yeah. So everyone's set on selling the seeds at the very least, and then seeing.
Sell the seeds and deduct the cost of the identification from the money.
Yeah,
It would be then 500
there you
gold.
125 each.
Yeah. Sounds good.
He will actually full on give you the knowledge on the coin. He will slide it back, right? And I mean, he did the whole like he will inspect it with the monocle and like kind of rub it in his hands, and it takes like about 6 seconds, and then about a minute, and then he slides it back and goes, "This is called a coin of delving. If you drop it from at least a 5 feet height and it lands, it will issue a melodious ringing sound when it hits the surface, and any creature that can hear the chime can determine the distance the coin dropped based on the tone. So if you drop it 20 feet, everyone will know it dropped 20 feet. If you drop it 21 feet, everyone will know you dropped it 21 feet by the sound."
Huh.
Of course, if you drop it to from a height where you don't hear it chiming anymore, you will not know. So it has its limitations.
All right. That's definitely something we could use.
OOC, I will give you the text. It's not attunement required. It doesn't have uses, so you can use it as much as you want.
Yeah, I think I found it. I already found it. The description of it, so.
How much is it worth if you wanted to sell it in exchange for something else?
It's a common item. It's not really that worth.
Yeah, but it's still enchanted.
Yeah.
So it's got to be worth something.
It's about 50 to 100 gold. Don't quote me on it.
If you're desperate for a healing potion at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Good to know the worth anyway.
It's really great for if you are standing at a black hole and you don't know how deep that hole is. Then again, you then still have to retrieve the coin after you dropped it in there.
So it'd be like, throw a rock first, just to make sure that we can
Yeah,
get the coin
do you
back.
hear the clink clatter? Yes, okay. It probably isn't that far. Right, now drop the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine.
It's one of those magic items where like it's not like overwhelming in its use, but it can be useful. You just have to put your mind to it, right?
How loud is the chime?
It's a ding. It's slightly louder than a normal coin, but it's unnaturally amplified. So like at a hearing distance, you would hear it like you're right there next to it.
But what sort of distance can you hear it up to? 50
He
feet?
will tell you depends on the acoustics of the space you drop it in.
Mhm.
So it probably can go wider, especially in a cave where like it echoes, right?
Mhm.
It can be more than 60 feet. Depends on
So
the space.
you could use it to draw a creature's attention as well. If you throw
Yes.
it, does it tell you? Does it chime for how far it's been thrown, or
No.
only drop?
Drop.
Only
And it has
drop.
to be at least 5-foot drop.
Mhm. So if you throw it, technically it's dropped 5 feet, so it would chime for 5 feet.
Yeah, if you throw it at a height of 5 feet forward, and then yes,
Hmm.
So you could use it to distract.
yes,
Mhm.
just have to throw it high.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mhm.
Alright, so
Just finding other uses for it. There
For
might
the
be...
potion, he will say he will need a day, so you will have to come back tomorrow evening.
I'm coming back tomorrow evening anyway, so.
For
Because
tea?
he said like it
What?
has the properties of a magical potion, but it is not a magical potion, so he cannot like flat out identify it.
No, that's fine. So I think we're interested in at least the bag or one of these more easily priced pouches.
Mm-hmm.
It's something we can all chip in. The what was the bag? How much was the bag again? Did you say?
The handy haversack would be 2,000 gold.
Yep. 2,000. Yeah, okay.
We don't
We
have that
probably
money.
can't afford that. Yeah, but and the pouches you would come back to us.
Uh,
Right?
yeah, I have to find my I did actually make smaller variations of bags of holding, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was as a player annoyed that there's only a bag of holding which is 500 pounds, but I wanted like a coin pouch of holding, right, where I can put coins in up to a certain weight.
That would be so useful. You think they'd be more common too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like somewhere I have to dig it up. They're cheaper as well because they're smaller, right?
Yeah.
But maybe we can figure it out, like because it was based on a bag of holding. Here, let's make it a group effort. Bag of holding. Bag of holding is 500 pounds for 4,000 gold.
Mm-hmm.
But you're paying predominantly for the time and the enchantment, not necessarily the poundage.
Yeah. But so it can hold 500. How much does it weigh again? I think it's 15 pounds.
Bag of holding is 15 pounds, and a handy haversack is 5 pounds. Or
Yeah.
5 pounds.
So a handy haversack is 2,000 gold for 120 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
4,000 gold for 500 pounds. So for 60 pounds you'd pay 1,000. For 30 pounds you'd pay 500.
So it's literally the same thing, just different.
And how much would it weigh?
Yeah.
The 60 pound would weigh 2.5. No, 2.
Yeah.
And the 30 would weigh 1.
There you go.
A coin pouch would be 30 pounds for 500 gold. Instead of carrying 1 pound. So it's carrying 30 times the amount.
But that's just for the size of coins.
Yes, you'd only be able to put coins and gems and rings and jewelry
that
and
size,
stuff
yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
But 30
that doesn't
pounds
sound really
worth. I
useful.
mean, consider that the
30
coinage.
pounds is quite a lot.
Yeah, the coins that you got
So-
from the hobgoblin
One fish at a
was
time.
like 5 pounds worth of like 169 coins, 44 like 169 gold plus 44 silver plus 37 copper was 5 pounds. It's a lot of coin
That's
in
true,
30
yeah.
pounds. Here,
Yeah.
I'll if it's the standard weight of coins.
You'd be able to put 1,500 coins in
Yes. That's a lot of
I-
coins.
I'd say that's pretty worth it for pouch
it. But it
holding.
is 500 gold.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
we
would
don't have
be
to
worth
stash
I
coins.
feel like selling everything to get to the 2,000 and maybe getting a discount. Come on, Cassius. Talk him into a discount. Because I've got the half plate, which if you can sell that even at a good price, that's 400 gold.
What's the half plate?
750. No, it's
750.
750.
It weighs 40. It is 750.
Okay.
So
Well,
if you sweet talk a smith, because this is good half plate, it's well made, he'd be able to sell it easily. You could get 1,000 gold just for the half plate. We've already got 500 gold on us. We just got it.
And we have a bunch of other stuff as well, so
Alright,
we
yeah.
could scrounge it together if we wanted.
If we
I
had to.
think this bag sounds really useful. If we...
It's it carries 120 pounds worth of gear.
Yeah.
80 in the main compartment, 20 in the sides.
And it weighs... Yeah.
5 pound. So like...
Yeah, but you could put the tent in a side pouch. There you go.
No, you would have to put the tent in the main compartment. Like there's a size issues with...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But maybe like bedrolls.
You could put the tent in. The whole thing still only weighs 5.
Yeah.
I think this is if we're going back there, in that place, I would think it's worth it.
We might not need the mule.
I
Yes,
think
that's
not having to trunk around with a mule would be good.
I think a mule would still be a good idea, though, just in case someone is injured and needs time to recuperate. They can rest on that.
But a mule
and keep up the same pace.
Should be good to. You can get it for a decent price, I think.
Yeah.
This will help us now and also beyond.
It's an item that we can invest in.
It will be an asset. For
we
sure.
Can store.
I see what you did there.
Healer's bits, healing potions. We can put all our bedrolls in it.
We'd have to see how good we are with the others we're selling, otherwise we'd have to make some coin other ways.
Aye. So I look back at the shopkeep.
He leaned forward on his elbows again.
So, we have to come back for the potion anyway, and maybe we can schedule our tea date tomorrow.
Oh,
and,
so it is a date.
Of course, if we can maybe discuss the price of it a little bit more, but I'll keep that.
So I have to ask at this point, of course to the date. Is this Cassius just being nonchalant, waving it off, or if I would have a high enough insight check, is he actually serious about pulling through with this? Because you have two burning golden eyes locked on you.
I mean, Cassius is super interested. He's like, this guy is interesting. Yeah, he would be serious about it.
Okay.
So no deception.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have to come back anyway for this potion.
He
so
will
then I have to
hold out his right hand. By the way, his left hand is covered in a glove, in a leather glove, but his right hand is uncovered, and he like holds it out for a handshake. Then we have a deal.
Yeah. And Cassius puts out his hand and shakes it.
And he like holds onto the hand. May I have your name at this point?
It's Cassius.
Cassius. Well, then I will see you tomorrow night. Might want to lose the armor, just to be more comfortable.
Don't worry, I make him up right pretty and I shall slap him on the shoulder.
He gives you a wink, Samira, and a toothy grin. And then his eyes will like glide past Samira and like hold on to Steno for a tiny bit longer, and then he looks away.
Alright, so let's make our way and get rid of some of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get rid of some of this baggage.
Next
Do it.
step, let's find a blacksmith.
Preferably a blacksmith.
Yes, we've got a lot of weaponry and armor. We can.
To a blacksmith.
All right.
Well, we'll leave it to you to do the talking this time, Cassius. I only intervened that time because I thought alchemy, he was probably the best bet to sell those seeds to.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think you got a good price for them. You wouldn't have got anything better anywhere else.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good. I have
Yeah.
no clue about this stuff, so it's good that you stepped in.
well, as you step
And
out, Vieira, because you have the highest passive perception, you didn't notice it that much on the way in because you were just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of stuff, right? But as you step out, the sound of the city just suddenly hits you, and you realize that you haven't heard it inside the store at all.
Given that she knows he's a wizard, she will just assume it's some sort of magic
Okay.
that's keeping the sounds of the city out. And
Yeah.
she'll note it personally curious, but she won't say anything or share anything.
Yeah. Okay,
She
so
assumes he likes his quiet.
you're finding a blacksmith.
Armorsmith.
Armorsmith. Okay.
Not a
Yeah.
blacksmith.
We can skip over the RP over, and it's like whoever is talking to him and trying to like haggle, please roll me a persuasion check.
Would any of us be able to aid him in this manner? Like if I were to point him out to like the top dealers?
Stano, like in the previous, like where you bought the tent and stuff, like you know what dealers are more likely to be persuaded if you know how to, or like even like dealers who are like devout followers of Tamora, for example, that kind of stuff. So you can try to you can try push your luck, Cassius, in Tamora City.
Trick twice? The same
would
trick
I-
twice?
Would I have been
about
able to help him somewhat since I worked a lot alongside blacksmith and basically got
Yeah.
okay.
You can help him in the sense of like if somebody tries to bullshit you and like downplay the price, right? You would know better. But yeah, I would say that Cassius gets an advantage.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's what necessary. It was
You
necessary.
sell it. You can sell it for the full price.
Okay. Good. Thank you for the advantage.
150 and the longbows.
Yeah.
Let me just
Somebody
add
wanna
up.
add that up.
Yeah.
I did. It's no. I'll say just gotta scroll up a bit. Here, let me. I'll pin it and then unpin it later once it's done.
All
Is
of
that-
it together.
Okay, that's full price.
Yeah.
And then Armorsville will
Oh,
kind of
thank you.
grumble because Samira was like, nah, there's actually more worth than that. And then he like
And you know
begrudgingly paid you and then kicked you out of the blacksmith shop. And don't come back anytime soon.
Okay, we're still a bit off.
Fucking cutthroats.
Yeah, but we all have 500 gold from the sale of the seeds.
Yeah, that's added the 500.
Yeah. But we do also have our personal stashes, and I would be willing to contribute.
No,
I
it's
don't
not.
have so much.
Oh yeah, it is.
I don't have enough to make it a 2,000.
You also have the gemstones, by the way. Gemstones.
Gemstones.
You have the gems?
Oh, there is a specific person that I want to take Cassius to when it comes to that. And it'll be back in a familiar place, the Dancing Dragon, where people are beating each other up nonstop. And I'll mention to him this place, once again, run by an adventurer. There's a lot of them that retire to different places here. He used to be a gem merchant, actually. His name is Paraphon of House Thond. So he's of a major minor. He's of a minor house here in Arable. So we might be able to get some accurate deals with him.
Alright, that sounds good. Yeah, so we're selling these gems.
Yeah, for that I will need 2 persuasion checks. One to actually get an audience with him. It's not like he hangs out with the thugs down below in the freaking tavern. He made this place so he doesn't have to deal with your lot in person, right?
Your lot.
Yeah.
Scum, low level adventurers.
So can I try to so how I'm trying to sell these gems specifically is that I'm trying to wind the story that these were found by a group of dwarves that have since passed.
So where you
And
where you
these-
selling them? In the Dancing Dragon or somewhere at a jeweler? Like first of all, if it's the Dancing Dragon, you have to sell the story to one of the lovelies to begin with, which is one of the big bouncers. You know, the rough looking ones, the ones that look like they're gonna rip your head off.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be easier to go to a gemsmith, but like this guy, he's a professional.
let's kind of looks at this bouncer. I think I already sold by soul today, so
Let's go Safeway.
so I guess we just go to a jeweler, but I'll try to spin the same story nonetheless. To get a better deal on these gems.
Well, roll me a persuasion check with advantage. Again, because I assume Stano brought you. Enjoy while you're in the hometown, you guys. The next time you're going to, you don't have these advantages.
Here we go.
You sell it for 150% of the base price per piece. So that's 75 per gem, right? Is this my math correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So how many gems are we selling?
Just sell them all.
You have 13 of them.
Yeah. If we want to get that bag.
Yep. Okay.
So
that's 975.
Yeah, the gems are worth 975.
975. Yeah. Let me just
keep in mind you might be able to talk him into a lower price for the bag as well.
I'll try my best.
Shall we go for all of it?
So we've
Since
got
we can,
more
what remains, we can divvy it up among all of us again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I think what we do is we give Samira the first bag, and because you've been carrying everything so far, and then as we, if we're lucky enough to get our hands on any more bags, we just give them to each one of us as we find them.
That's a good idea.
Or buy them.
I will give you a temporary picture of the guy, by the way, of the trader. Keep in mind, I will actually make a proper new updated one, right? But so you can get at least a vague idea of what he looks like. What arrow? What?
I can't say anything. I'm not allowed to say.
Chris's eyes twitching.
I know.
I know.
At least it's only a soul too
But
badly.
Viera doesn't.
No, and she doesn't.
Viera's just glad not to be lugging that half plate around anymore. So.
Yeah. Are we selling? Are we buying the bag today or tomorrow at your date?
I think tomorrow.
Let's not interrupt his date.
Probably better not to discuss business at the date.
During a date, yes, exactly.
And suggest that you'll come back the following morning. Because we still have 3 more days in Arabelle.
Yeah. So, at this point, what are you guys doing to actually train for your levels besides shopping?
Oh, do we want to do the training first or the rest of the business stuff first, like shopping or whatever the fuck?
I feel like we should finish that off. Just out of character.
Yeah, just like I need a rough stuff thing that you actually were doing because we're not RPing it through, right? So I wanna see what you wanted to do and maybe RP out bits of it.
Okay, for sure, fighting pit. We're already in Arabelle. They're already offered. I'm gonna. Second level is pure martials on fighting pit. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
I'll just cheer.
just chilling in the dancing dragon is basically no problem, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So Stano and Samira is like, let's go through all the taverns. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, we're just racking up.
It's awesome. Yeah,
I assume that
we're
Vieira
just
is
like,
gonna be outside the city whenever she fucking can. In the meantime,
Yes, of course. Given that it's high harvest tide, she's probably going to remain in the city for that, but then probably leave early and head for Sunset Hill.
mind you, at high harvest tide, the amount of people in the city in the streets swells to a degree where you're like, fuck this.
Yeah, I don't want to be there. But she does want to see how the humans celebrate it. It's a curiosity thing.
It's
So
basically the merrymaking of like people, like it explodes the limitations of the usual market. There's stands in the streets, various kinds of food. It's very food oriented because it's a harvest festival, right? So they basically brought everything that they have recently harvested. There's like stuff and additional stuff like candied apples, which you have never seen this, right? And odd like human stuff like corn on the cob, and you're like, and on a stick, right? And some of it grilled, some of it boiled, and some of it like boiled and then rubbed into spices, and you're like, why would you do this to a perfectly fine corn cob, right? Because I can imagine like wood elves to be like the Japanese minimalists of seasonings, right? Of like enjoying the food in its raw form, like in its natural form as much as possible, and not so much like going into like the heavy spices because it kind of masks what the food actually tastes like.
I don't know, because a lot of the spices come from root vegetables and root plants and stuff like that, so I think they would mix it up.
Yeah. And there's stuff like that you've never seen, and you don't even know what it is, like cotton candy. It's like the others have
She's
to
not gonna go anywhere near it. But
yeah, it's just like puff of whiteness, and you're like, what is this? And then basically the others would have to explain to you that's cotton candy, and you're like, what is cotton candy? And then explain it to you, and you're like, what?
Why would you eat cotton? That's crazy.
And it's like, no, it's not cotton, it's candy, it's sugar, right? And you're like, what?
What is sugar? She wouldn't know.
Yeah. Just same thing for the candied apples. You like sit there and like, you've never seen unnaturally red apples like that.
That's different. That's probably more like it looks like it's been dipped in honey, effectively.
Yeah, but it's red. It's bright red, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. But eventually, the sheer crowd would become oppressive for you. Also, the mixture of scents, right? Because the food for the city people would absolutely like override the usual city smells. For you, no way. For you, it just starts mingling. It is just like eventually overwhelming, sickening mixture of all kinds of smells. Your nose is way too sensitive for this.
That's fine.
But yeah. Otherwise.
In terms of levels, actually, or for the training,
So
I would try to spend some days with the fighters. Doing the whole disengaging, fighting dirty, and I'll be looking into. So with the fighting, I'll also try to help Samira and Steno out as much as I can, like calling out shots, basically trying to work on the tactics, and specifically master of tactics.
Yeah. I see what you're doing.
Yep. And
you're prepping for level 3.
Yep. Alchemy. I need to somehow get that. And I'll also be looking into trying to get my hands on a couple of books in languages. If I need to buy these, or I can try to, or I'll first try to go to the Temple of Timora, and actually I'll probably put on my disguise kit for this. Use my disguise kit to put on my disguise of the Lysander, a priest, and I'm trying to get a book on two books, a book on Celestial and a book on Infernal, if it's at all possible. And I'm trying to
make me 2 separate investigation checks.
All right. And if I use my disguise kit to get my hands on them, can I use my deception as well to increase the chance here, or?
Yes, you can roll me both with advantage. No, actually, the first one with advantage, the second one normal, because it's way more obscure. It's more about the knowledge of the person, right? But
okay.
And you can, I will let you choose if you want investigation or persuasion at this point, because you're kind of sweet talking them into giving you the information. They don't necessarily have the books. Okay.
Persuasion. And then the first one is advantage, the second one
is normal, yeah.
Okay. All right. And second one.
They won't help you. They won't be able to help you on the Infernal, right? But Celestial, they will actually point you to a couple of bookstores in the city where you can go and buy stuff like that. They themselves don't sell it.
Okay, that's fine.
But they also point out that there's a shrine to Ogma, and maybe if you ask some of the priests there, maybe they can point you to obscure bookshops. I mean, and you also have Steno ticket,
Yeah.
who you can ask.
Yeah, I'll basically do that. Actually, I'll try to do this as one of the party members is not with me, because I'll be in the disguise.
Yeah.
And they haven't seen this part, so I'll try to keep it hidden. But we don't need to go through it completely. But if we can figure out the prices, or if I need to roll something more too.
It would be the standard book price, right? If you want to haggle it down, it's a tome. It's a proper language tome.
What would be the standard price for that?
It's I think 50 gold.
25 gold. It's 25 gold.
Oh, it's 25 gold. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and yeah, I'll try to haggle that down as well. And using a story that I'm a priest that is going to travel to far off lands, and trying to find out more about this language specifically to.
The story itself will not give you anything. You can just roll persuasion. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, you get the half price.
Nice. So would be 25 gold for both of the tomes. One on Celestial, one on Infernal, right?
Yeah, the Infernal you haven't found yet. That was the Celestial one.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'll for sure buy that. The Celestial one.
You will notice if you ask about Infernal, you will get very odd looks, right?
I figured.
Yeah. And you also get the impression that even if people perhaps might know about it, they're probably not really willing to admit that they actually know what the fuck you're talking about.
Gotcha.
Not many people like Infernal.
God,
but you also have Steno, who's the native of the city.
Up to you, mate.
I'll try to include Steno in my search, but on the Infernal book. Now. But
Steno, you don't know specifically a store that would sell a book on Infernal, because War Wizard City is not exactly inclined on selling
They're not too keen
Infernal in languages, right?
Yeah.
But you know for a fact that your master's friend was a collectionist of obscure books. You know where he lives. You know him. You've been hanging around with your master around that man a lot of times. He actually he used to, from what you know, he used to run a guild, or still runs it, you're not exactly sure. The guild's name is Adventurers of Parchment. They basically, as far as you know, serve basically him to gather obscure items and books and magical knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So he like sends them out on regular basis.
And of course, Sveno is the whole time, while taking Cassius to his place, she's just raving about the guild and what they do and like some of the findings that they've had, and she goes on and on about books and like stories, just nonstop.
Would she know about the history of the guild?
No. She knows basically that at some point her master met Kimorn in the city, and Kimorn basically took him under his wing. But yeah. And he's a very low-key noble, right? He doesn't really... What you know about him as the man is that he's a retired war wizard. Steno.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that he looks in his 40s. So whatever he did to retire, and that's like super obscure knowledge, and it would have been considered rude to ask, right? But you can make a very like educated assumption that whatever he did to retire this young must have been awesome, right?
Yeah, because you have a bunch of famous war wizards who are from the city and like to do something.
In the way how he is low key and how people leave him alone among the nobility, you also know that there's probably way more to the story, but you don't have access to that knowledge because you're not in those circles, right? You were this close just because of your master. And from what you gathered, it was also like Kimborn genuinely cared about your master, right? But it also feels a bit like another obscure addition to his obscure collection, like the rest of his crew, actually, right? I mean, his crew is super weird. Like you saw some of them. One of them is like a gnome warrior, like a dude who looks like 80 or like 300 years old, gnome, rippled muscle, barely ever wearing anything, right? You know, even in a cold, who carries like a sword that's basically bigger than he is. And from the stories that you heard, the dude is like fucking vicious. OC barbarian, right? Gnome barbarian. And it's like a bunch of really weird, like he even has like one of the adventures of Parchment is a kenku, a raven kenku. So they're very weird. But that's all you know.
Yeah, and she would of course pass this all on to Cassius during the trip there.
Yeah. And basically the reason why your mentor even met Kimborn is because of Kimborn's right hand, which is actually a tabaxi, a pen for tabaxi, called Eclipse. Chris's eyes twitching.
All right. And and he was introduced, I believe, through a tabaxi named Eclipse. I never had the fortune to meet this individual, but Master spoke maybe not kindly, but certainly, he was well
So basically, the only
well-respected.
reason why you're taking Cassius here to begin with, because otherwise this would be way out of your league, is that Kimorn himself, when your master died, let you know that if you ever need anything, you can knock at his door.
All right. So, hold on a sec. It was the guild house or Kimorn himself, like his home?
His home. They don't have an official guild house. They're like literally 13 people total, right, with him.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, making way to his home then, and knock knock on the door. Let's see if he's there.
It will take a few moments while GM is pulling up a picture. Again, temporary picture. I will get a proper one. This is just for a moment. So you get a better sense of what I'm talking about. Flashback. Yeah. And yep, basically. But that's not who opens the door. Give me just a second. The person opening the door looks like is the Tabaxi actually.
Oh.
He's very tall, right? He's taller than Steno. Actually taller than the door frame. So he actually has to lean down to look out. And he looks at both of you, and then basically his yellow eyes, like yellowish blue eyes, settle on Steno. Can I help you?
Hello. Yes, my friend here is looking for something specific, and I happen to know that Kimorn collects a few interesting things. I apologize. My name is Steno, and this here, my compatriot, is out of character. Are you in the disguise, or are you just like
yes,
hanging out?
yes? He's basically the all the time you were walking in this disguise with priestly vestments, and he told people that his name is Lysander, and he's like talking.
And Steno is like, yeah, whatever.
He's talking very differently and very like more collected and calm, and he was walking with his hands like not together in prayer, but very.
The Tabaxi looks at Cassius, squints his eyes, looks down at your clothing, looks back up at you, and then you hear in your head, I would lose that before you come in.
Noted.
It's a very odd sensation, right? Because you can hear the voice in your head, like in your skull, right?
Mm-hmm. That's weird as fuck. Yeah, Cassius will do as he's told that will in his head.
So Steno, you see Cassius suddenly starts like undoing the disguise, right?
Just eyebrow raised. Really?
Jig is up. Jig is up. Might as well. You know.
Well, I'm not one to judge.
And then the Tabaxi turns his head and looks at Steno, and you also hear in your head. And this is very familiar to you. Painfully so, right? I know your name. I know who you are. I know your face. You may come in, both of you, after he's done. And then he nods and steps back.
She just rubs her head, like her temple a little bit, before, like nothing was overtly wrong, and then just nods, waits for Cassius, and then heads in.
Mm-hmm.
So inside, you find a very simple home. This is not like how you would expect a noble's home, and you were never in Kimorn's place, right? Kimorn would usually have visited your master, right? So this is the first time you're here. It's what you come into is basically a kitchen, living room area with a table and like, a hearth. Off to the left, there's like more of a living room area, and there's piles of books everywhere, right? The home itself is humble. The amount of books in this place is holy shit, right? And the tabaxi basically leads you back through a door, up a staircase, and then down a hallway through a set of doors, and basically looks more like an office, tea room, both. It's cozy, again, very simple. The furniture is not, it's well made, but not the noble fancy kind, right? It's very simple, very humble. And at a table sits the man that you know as Kimorn. And Cassius, again, this is basically a man in his late 40s. There's some silver fox going on there already, right? Some salt and pepper in the beard. He looks, there's no doubt that he's a wizard, right? He looks very wizardy. The robes, the pendant, just the composure, he sits there with a book, and Eclipse will just like nod at him, and then he will jump up into the rafters above. There's like, rafters, and kind of like just melt into the darkness of the rafters above. You can just see like a set of eyes staring down at you, but he's still there. And Kimorn will look up as like, and then see Stano first, right? And then get up and then basically come towards you and extend his hands. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. A month? I believe it has been a month.
It's been a very busy month. It's a pleasure to see you. And she takes his hand and clasps it. I'm here with a friend. And she looks over her shoulder. This is Cassius.
Cassius, well met. My name is Kimorn.
Well met. Are you old friends, or?
One could say so, yes. Her mentor was a very good friend of mine.
And he will be missed, but that is...
Please sit. And he kind of looks up for a moment, and there's a moment of silence, and then the cat, the tabaxi, jumps back down and like goes outside. And then he turns back to you. It's like, is T all right?
Yes, of course. And she nudges Cassius with an elbow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Takes a seat.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been?
Busy as always. Mourning my friend. Missing his presence. He was a good man.
Yes. There's some unfinished business. I should have said something to you before I left. I met up with some others, and she gestures to Cassius. And we were heading towards where I believe his assailant has gone. And we found ourselves ill-prepared. So we have returned to better prepare ourselves for the journey. And then she leaves the floor to Cassius, just remaining silent and clasping her hands together. looking at
Cassius
him.
is kind of because he didn't know anything about this. I mean, he knew Stena was chasing someone, and he kind of puts a hand on her shoulder. Yes, we were looking for this person, and possibly going somewhere beyond this world. And to better help this, I was looking to learn about some strange languages, some more exotic languages, Infernal in particular. It's not
He
a nice
lifts an
language,
eyebrow and kind of leans
but
forward and looks at you.
Steno
Why
raises an eyebrow
infernal
too.
specifically?
I think because we're not sure what we will encounter in our travels, and I think this will aid us if we can at least know the vile language that some races speak. I'm trying to learn as many as I can. This is a bit more out there, but
Well, he gets up and kind of like goes through the room and like looks at various books. I suppose it's not as bad as trying to summon a succubus.
Cassius kind of looks
Honestly,
like, what's a succubus? And he doesn't ask it, but he kind of looks like...
He kind of chuckles to himself. Is like, don't worry about it. And then he pulls out the book and comes back and basically puts it down on the table. I feel like Chris's eyes are twitching so hard right now. So yeah, and he will say, if you read this book for a certain amount of time, you will know the language.
Thank you.
I will give you the details later, Abel. It's one of those books, like if you read it for, over 48 hours across 6 days, then you basically know the language.
Okay. Yeah, so like a tome of knowledge, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. This is very kind. Should I... And he kind of looks at Steno.
She just shakes
give
her
you
head.
some privacy, or...
No, that's...
He looks at you, Steno, and goes like, you're going for the tower, aren't you?
Yes. And she looks back at him. It's the last place I know that he would go. I've already looked around Argo. I just have to find him.
I am not one to tell you not to do things. You are a grown woman. Your mentor taught you well. The Hulak is dangerous. I don't have to tell you about that. You would know.
She absentmindedly grabs her shoulder. Yes. The world is a bit more dangerous than... It's a bit more real than the stories, but I'm determined.
Nobody ever came back from that place. That is known of. Like, he kind of tilts his head to the side, looks sideways for a moment, and looks back at you.
It matters not to me where I end up, just that I know why. I can't fathom why somebody would do that. gave me new insights, and I plan to use those to continue on wherever life takes me. And she just kind of bows her head slightly.
What do you know about him? I don't believe that your mentor has spoken about him much.
Nothing aside from that he is capable, and his name is Victor.
Well, then you
That's-
should know that he used to be your mentor's pupil, like you.
Her eyes widen. Pardon?
Yes, yes. He was your mentor student, just like you were. He
Then
exceeded him
why?
at a rapid rate, and he was not satisfied. So he left to pursue his own goals.
And you knew? Couldn't you have? And she stopped. Like it's clear that she wants to say more, and then she bites her tongue, and like Cassius, you probably see her fists are clenched.
Would that change anything?
What if he was still alive?
We wouldn't have known that he would come back and do this.
She bows her head sharply. Thank you. Come on. I greatly appreciate the loan that
Do
you've...
take care. The place you're going is very dangerous and it's very different. And things are not as you are used to.
She is quiet and just nods. She reaches out, takes a small sip of her tea, and just, to show some reverence, and sets it back down.
He pats the
And
book and then looks at Cassius, right?
Excuses herself.
And, he waits until she walks out.
Yeah.
And then he will look back at Cassius, right? Pats the book. It's like, there was a young man 5 years ago who sat in this very spot you're sitting now. And he looked for very interesting knowledge. You're not as extreme. But if you're traveling with Stena to the same place, you have a rough journey ahead. Stay together, help each other. And he kind of slides the book over.
Right. I will use this and use the knowledge to at least prevent
On the other
something
side,
to happen to her.
you will be the only thing that you have. Only each other. Never forget that.
Cassius kind of nods and takes the book, stands up and gives a slight, well, not a bow, but mostly a bow of his head. Thank you.
Good luck. Oh, and I would stop pulling the false priest act in Arabelle. He winks at you.
Cassius smiles. Yeah, I tend to give up on ploys if they're found out so easily. Looks at where if he can see this cat, but they left the room, so it's like, okay. And he nods again and goes after Stena.
Is that outside?
Yes, she'll be outside, and
Also,
her
by
eyes
the
are just
way,
scanning
there
around.
is the same Cassius, the same odd. You would have noticed it here because the inside of the house is dead quiet, right? Basically, the moment the door is closed, you can't hear the outside at all. And it's like when you notice it more on the way out. It's like basically the noise of the city just suddenly hits you, right? Where you then like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was quiet. Oh, okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, sure, it's a wizard home, whatever, right?
Fucking wizard.
And yeah, you find Steno outside.
Oh. Don't know, you're doing alright there.
No, I'm not. And she just starts walking away. It looks like she's headed somewhere specific. Kind of has a direction in mind.
Cassius kind of calls after her. Do you want to be left alone, or?
She just doesn't say anything. Just keeps walking.
Takes that as a yes and doesn't follow her.
All right.
And goes back to, I don't know, somewhere. The inn, probably. Oh.
If you're heading back to the inn, I imagine whilst all this was going on, Samira and Vieira were probably training.
Yeah, Samira would have done half on her day. Like, the evening's gonna be the fighting time, and a lot of the mornings is spent. She's bought herself a glassblowing kit, kind of getting back into the rhythm and having some sort of like meditative like glassblowing so to calm herself down, because the ever-growing people and energy is just getting her very tense and so she needs some calming time as well. But yeah, lots of fighting.
And Vieira is going to take to the rooftops to avoid the people, and also to practice her climbing skills.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And what Samira also would have done is getting that pelt tanned commissioned. You said that a 10-day would be doable.
Yes.
Yeah. And price, I think, is something we can talk about later once we figure out
Yes.
what
Yeah.
else we have left after the bag. But next to the pelt, she'd get the tusks made into some nice and shiny bull tusk bracelets.
They're
Carved with
yeah,
silver.
they're dagger sized, right? They're not
Yeah,
small.
yeah. Yeah, she's got one for each arm, and she would commission some carving into it towards the goddess she is following. And yeah, price will be talked about later, but that's basically her like time spent in Arval, the training, the second level.
Well, then I would like to do one more thing before we call it a night.
Mm-hmm.
Cassius's date.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely like spruce him up. Make him look all fancy, like do my best to make his fancy clothes go back to fancy.
And take the leather armor off.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a proper bath, right?
Get his hair all styled.
Yes. Wash his face and everything, so he doesn't look like.
Clean underwear.
Very important, yes.
Go
You
get
know
him,
what?
Tiger.
While helping him get dressed and make sure he's looking all fine and tidy, I'm gonna put that 1 point of healing slot back to him. You're gonna need that.
So you'd use your healing hands on him?
Yep, I'm just behind your back. You're making sure your shoulders are looking good. Just Ching, a little bit of warmth, and you're back to full.
I mean, this might have. OC, I already used a thing of my own healer kit the last day before it arrived into Arabelle, but sure,
Okay.
I'll let you use your healing stuff on me.
Yeah, I'm gonna boost you up a little. You're gonna need your energy for this.
So there's not only the eyesight to you now, is there? The seeing in the dark.
Wow. Nothing for you to know. Give him a wink. Go on, have fun today. Better get your money out of it.
Is that who I am to you? He kind of scoffs, flips his hair, and walks out.
As long as you have fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Cassius.
Be safe.
If I don't come back, well,
I'll go
know.
looking tomorrow.
Yeah.
So make it back to the shop, easy enough.
Yep.
I mean, easy enough. You probably have to ask a bit, how to find it back. It's a bit obscure, right? But you manage. You've been in the city a bit already, so so you step through the door, and now that you have been in Kimorn's place, now you actually notice it here as well. The moment the door closes, the sound of the city vanishes. And it's a bit unnerving even, right? But not only that, but while you could sort of look into the shop from the outside, now that you actually look for the windows out, you can't see the outside. It's just the filthy windows, right? The daylight still comes through normal, right? But
sure. Yeah, and just guess it chalks us all up to weird magic shit, so doesn't really pay too much attention to it. And yeah, I'll see if the what's this guy's name actually? Did we get his name?
Yisilaf, yeah, Yisilaf, yeah.
Yisilaf. All right, gotcha.
Actually, the way it's spelled, because I misspelled it, because it happens. Yisilaf.
All right. Yeah, so I will.
Viera, you would know that it means name of. Literally in Sylvan. But then again, she doesn't make it a habit to translate every Elven and Sylvan term to you guys, so yeah, you would know that. Anyway, so yeah, you come in. Yep. And similar like the previous day, he actually comes out from the curtain, the bead curtain room, right to the left, behind the counter. He wears similar robes. The color palette is a slightly bit more blue. But he looks clean and pristine. He did look like that yesterday as well, so he still looks clean and pristine. So and he kind of looks at you, proper, up and down. Mm-hmm. That smirk on his face appearing, knowing, glint in his golden eyes. Roll me a perception check.
Alrighty.
While GM is changing the music. Because we don't hear the city anymore. Yeah, no, that's fine. You don't notice. And he's just standing there looking at you. By the way, he's holding the potion.
Ah, I see. So you figured out what it is?
It is, what was the beast that you called? Ankeg Iker distilled. He puts it down on the counter and smiles. After drinking this vile concoction, um, your appearance will change to something more bug-like, and you will gain the ability to spit acid for quite a distance. It's quite impressive.
Mm.
I will leave you the guys the description and chat on what it does.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
There you go.
Fascinating.
You basically get the Ankeg's breath weapon for a certain amount.
Yeah, more bug-like. That doesn't sound anything like I would be interested in, but maybe one of my companions.
I suppose it can be useful in certain situations.
If it makes you look like a bug.
More the spitting part of it, not the.
Yeah.
Although I assume looking like a bug probably has its uses.
If there are any, I fail to see them.
Would you like some tea?
Yes, please.
And he kind of lifts a part of the counter, right? And it's at that side where the bead curtains are, right? And he kind of waves you in, and like waves at the beaded curtains to let you step through. And he even like pulls them aside slightly for you. And when you step through, there is a big dining room table. Half of it is piled on with like scrolls, books, um, just like in the entire room, very similar to Kimorn's place, is very full of various, like, the front, but a bit messier, right? It's like more like piles of, books and more parchments and what looks to be opened up, like rolled, like attached parchments to the wall, like posters of arcane stuff. That's all you can decipher. It's like, oh, it's this magical shit that I don't know anything about, right? Um, a lot of diagrams and arcane symbols, and you have no idea what any of this stuff means. But the one thing that kind of strikes you as odd is there's no windows. It says one window in the back because it's a longish room, more than wide, and it's like very cramped. There's a sofa to the side, that's been kind of cleaned off, and there's like a nice um, like a cover over it with like those like tassels on the edges. You know what I mean? It's like deep burgundy red and golden tassels. It would be tacky, except it doesn't look tacky. Somehow, like it matches this like scholarly room appearance. But like I said, the odd thing is that one window to the back, which is a stained glass window, um, and it looks like there's sun shining through, although it shouldn't, because that wall should be a wall where there's another building behind it. But maybe you could turn around, huh? Weird. And you kind of like stop
weird.
for a moment. It's like, okay, maybe more magical shit, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of like motions you to like pick a place. You can sit at the table, or you can sit on the couch, right? There's like little side tables next to it. And
said on the fancy couch.
it's super comfy. You have never sat on anything more comfortable. It's like, how medieval furniture isn't really comfy, right? This is modern standard comfy, like that soft, right? It's like really like you sink in and it molds to your body. It's like, it's heaven, right? And he disappears actually for a while, like into the shop, and then comes back with a tray of, this like little teapot. It looks like a simple terracotta teapot with like 2 cups, and he pours tea, and it smells like a mixture of herbs. It's like very pleasant, sweet smelling, a bit of spicy, right? And he pours it, and it has this like golden, deep golden color, uh, like his eyes, oddly enough. Um, you can't quite really put a finger to like what kind of herb this is, but it's like, this is nice. Like, by the way, it's not relaxing in a way where like you would think, oh, he spiked your tea, right? Um, it's just a pleasant drink, right?
I was going to say I'm gonna wait until he drinks first.
Oh, he drinks it, he sips it, and he sits down on the same couch, right? And crosses his legs and kind of leans back and sips his tea and just looks at you and waits for you to start the conversation.
Uh, so, how did you end up in this town? It's a very nice shop, but I would imagine you maybe being in a more fancy city.
Oh, no. It is an interesting nexus of things. I don't
Have you ever?
venture out ever, but it is a nice place to put a shop, I suppose.
Yeah, it's nice enough, but so I figure you haven't been to Westgate or one of the other bigger cities around.
No, I am not interested in those cities.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
I'm quite satisfied with my little shop here and my little back room and my tea. I like being inside.
Mm, fair enough. So, I wanted to ask you something. Do you know anything about? So me and my friends were chasing after someone. Um, it's a longer story. I don't know quite the full details, but as long as there's some adventure involved. But um, we're going towards this tower in the Hulak Forest that my other companion, the elf, mentioned. Do you know anything about this tower? This is
And he kind of
mean
like
anything
puts
to
his
you?
hand to his chest. You found my weakness. I cannot believe it. You can ask me anything. I have all the items you could possibly ever desire, but knowledge is not something I can offer. Not
Hmm.
knowledge about this area, at least. I would not know anything about a tower in a Hulak forest.
Hmm. Not even a magic tower.
Oh, I know about magic towers, but not this tower, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
You would have to specify a question, I'm afraid.
Uh, Supposedly, this tower takes you to another world. At least that's what the stories say.
Ah, there are places like that here in Coromir. This country seems to attract them.
And yeah, I mean, if it's tied to this tower, but do you know anything about going to different worlds? I guess with
Well,
magic, or
what would you like to know?
I'm trying to get a beat on what to expect.
Depends on the world you're going to.
Yeah, that's a jiffy there.
Some are less friendly than others. Some are downright hostile to regular beings. I would have to know more about the place you're going to.
Yeah. Oh.
And there are so many worlds out there, so many places. I don't know all of them. I know a few.
Such as?
Well, the usual. The plane of fire, the plane of air, the plane of water, the plane of earth.
Cass is kind of like looking blankly. Sure. It's this as usual. I take it, but I'm I guess you have also found my weakness. Anything to do with magic. It's interesting, but
Well, I would have to admit that I am less knowledgeable in the arcane arts, and I am more of alchemist myself. I
but you
dabble in
do
transmutation, but on a more basic level. Of here an ingredient, there an ingredient, you mix them together, you get an effect.
sounds the same as alchemy to me.
In its basis, yes. You put two things together, and then you get something, and it gonna grins at you. Interesting and wonderful, or not so much.
Guess he's kind of sips his tea. So, do you often encounter interesting people that come through your shop?
Every single person who comes to my shop is interesting in their own unique way. And it gives you this like very odd toothy grin. Again, it's like he absolutely knows more than you do, right? It's just you have no
Yeah,
idea
sure.
what it is.
Sure. I guess that's true for most folks. I do know some very boring people, though. That's really, oh.
Well,
But
the
that's
way I
interesting.
see it, if you are here, you're interesting enough.
This is fair. I have been
Whether you
called
will
interesting
stay
before.
interesting, that is absolutely up to you. Sips his tea.
So, what do you find interesting exactly in people?
I know it when I see it. It's not always difficult. It's not always easy to tell. I've seen many things, many people, many different. And he kind of just trails off and doesn't finish the sentence.
So, what did you find interesting about the other members of my troop?
He chuckles. Wouldn't you like to know?
I'm a curious person.
There is a saying I heard from someone. Curiosity killed the cat.
Well, not
I
in Cormyr,
do
right?
believe it is a Cormyrian saying.
Huh. Yeah, the city seems to like their cats. Met a cat person today. They walked on two legs. That isn't interesting. else's?
They are rare. Not necessarily interesting.
Well, they also said words into my mind directly.
Well, that is interesting. To
See?
certain people.
Yeah. It was an uncomfortable experience, but new, I suppose.
Well, there are rings of protection against that.
Really?
Yes. Not exactly cheap.
Yeah. I figured we'll be out of our price range, especially with buying this expensive magic item that will serve us quite well.
I believe I remember a young man who came into my store from Cormier. It was a long time ago. He offered me 2 books in exchange. It's been a while. He kind of like is lost in thought, like genuinely for a minute, and he smiles. Yeah, it's been a while.
How long ago was this? Do you know?
He taps the side of his nose and winks.
Yeah. So, if you don't travel much, are you interested in other countries at all? Could I give you some knowledge on those?
I don't think you can offer me knowledge that I seek quite yet. But you perhaps have the potential to acquire it. Who knows? We shall see. If my hunch serves me right, tonight will not be the last time we see each other.
Well,
We do have a deal after all. And he smile, like his smile widens.
to come back for tea, right?
Yes.
As just nods at the teacup.
And this is where I'm gonna
Good.
call it.
Mm-hmm.
On a cliffhanger in the middle of the date.
Oh.
It's like Chris sitting there going like, flashbacks! Oh my god, flashbacks! Oh yeah. Now you guys have to like sit here for a week and go like, what is gonna happen? Are they gonna do it or not?
Am I going to die or not?
I think the latter question is far more applicable.
Just never see Cassius again. Has anybody seen where he went?
No. Who's Cassius? What? Okay, I think Era needs to scoot because work.
Well, actually, I mean, I start work at 2:30, and I can make it there in like 15 minutes.
Well, scoot
wasn't
over
sure.
to the office. I'll be there in a moment, just for
Okay.
the wrap up. I'll be right there. Well, guys, my dear viewers, I hope you enjoyed this. And yes, Savage, if you want to know how the date will turn out, you will have to come next week and listen and see how it turns out. But some old faces have shown up, Kimorn and Yisilov, which you guys don't know, but Chris remembers from my old campaign. Those are actually staple NPCs. So he actually remembers them from his previous character. So yeah. More about that maybe next time. Who knows? I hope you guys enjoyed. More from me on Wednesday. We're gonna work a bit more on the world builder and then usual session planning. Misha on Friday as usual. But yeah, otherwise I will publish the schedule as always. I hope you enjoyed. Bit more of a calmer session this time. But yeah, I love you all. And bye. uh no raid today. I'm tired. So next time. Lots of hearts. I love you all. Bye.